Jakarta, what's good?
Yeah, I got looks that kill. Let's go. Wild and free, got an animal in me. Once you see, you ain't never wanna leave. You think your eyes are fooling you. It's just the way my body moves. I bring the sugar and spice. I got naughty and nice. Get the cinnamon once, promise you want it twice. So come get a taste right there. Got looks that kill, bang bang. I'm razor sharp, real so hard. Light it up, fireworks in the dark. Watch out, I'ma get ya. Don't leave, I won't let ya. I'm razor sharp, really so hard. I light it.
Free Fire, JKT48, real genius, baby. Hey, who am I gonna verse now? Burn bright, I'm burn out. Crushed out, look at me now. Huh? I can never go reverse now. Hey, but I'ma spin it back. A jump, went from nada to the crowd throwing their hands. Base jump, I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front. You a runner up, I'm in a but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11 auto snooze. I pursue, I push it, put in the game that I'm lose. I say cool, depending on my penance I choose. Hey, I'ma show you how it work. Not a loudest, yeah. Wu-Tang, love the competition. Told you only way is up, I can go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? 'Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. We know me, I'm higher. Hey, we know me, I'm higher. 'Cause I've been ready my whole life. 'Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only ain't turning back on. 'Cause I've been ready. Wings on me,
The crowd is ready to conquer the world stage at home. RRQ Kazoo! Fearless B Sports! The dual mode champions are ready to begin. Team Falcons! Consistent, confident, and truly solid. Team Solid! The fourth place finishes no more. It's E1's time to rise. To break out force of this tournament, All Gamers Global. Fighting through the fire to stay alive. Let's go! GOW! A fight powerhouse stack with champions. Buriram United Esports! The defending world champions, hunting a three-peat for Brazil, Fluxo! Latam's Fearless Storm, rewriting their story, Ovistar R7! Masters of Chaos and Close Combat. Heavy from Vietnam! The home ground heroes, the EWC champions, Evo's Divine!
Show me what it's worth now. Pull up in the all these people wanna follow me. Different planes, avocados, for rapping, and I got role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body. The shit, shout out to Virgil. Know that I won't beat them like the shit that I put words to. Mama and the internet, two things that I just learned through. Hit it out the park, so there's nothing to reverse to. Yeah, I can't entertain. Will you still more than sane, 'cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Yeah, wings on me, I'm higher. Who am I gon' verse now? Burn bright, I don't burn now. Crushed out, look at me now. I can never go reverse now. Good luck to all the players.
Mana suaranya Jakarta? Selamat malam Indonesia Arena. Selamat datang Survivors. My name is Conchita and alongside Yunsul will be your host for today.
And welcome to the grand finals of Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025 live in Jakarta.
Coba kita cek lagi sekali lagi semangatnya. Mana fans-fans di Indonesia Arena? Hari ini bersama-sama kita akhirnya sampai di partai puncak, malam puncak, the grand final. 2 minggu yang tentunya sudah penuh dengan emosi, perjuangan, semua bermuara pada malam hari ini. Malam di mana satu tim akan menjadi juara dunia Free Fire 2025. Sekali lagi mana suaranya?
The heat in here is so crazy.
Yeah?
Not forgetting the fans tuning in every corner of the world. Show us your excitement and who you are supporting in FFWS.
And of course, yang lagi di rumah juga kasih dukungan kamu di kolom komentar. Kita ramein sama-sama. Dan yang lagi di Indonesia Arena, aku mau coba cari tahu ya. Paling keras kira-kira suara pendukung siapa? Mana di sini penggemarnya Falcons?
Luxo!
Kalau rajanya tuan rumah RRQ Kazuh, mana suaranya?
What about Evo Divine?
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing, keren banget kalian semua Survivors.
Brazil enters with fire, the reigning champions, hunting for another title. And together with Latam, the Western teams are determined to keep the crown in the West.
And from the East, Asia's giants arrive with one mission: to finally claim their very first global championship.
Thailand comes in at full strength, joined by the new era rising by Vietnam.
And of course, Indonesia. 2 home teams, 1 electrifying arena, ready to ignite the night. Jakarta, are you ready? Ini saatnya kita lihat siapa yang bisa crush all the doubts and burn the brightest.
To everyone watching this now, the greatest stage of them all, the fire burns here. This is the Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025.
Para pemain sudah siap, penonton juga sudah siap. Without further delay, casters, take it away and good luck!
Last circle. Indonesia. Latam. Thailand. Vietnam. Brazil. The safe zone shrinks until only 12 teams stand. Now the final circle restarts, leaving room for more pressure.
Every shot
fired, every fleeting moment, every round played, every fraction of a second, the safe zone screamed.
Some regions faded away. Instead of crushing doubts, they were crushed by pressure.
Some of the strongest region persevered under the pressure of their own expectations.
Brazil dominance, Latam trailblazing, Vietnam upsurge, Thailand's talent, and Indonesia pride have all been tested under pressure.
Soon, they'll be facing the grand finals, a stage that brings unimaginable pressure.
RRQ Kazu tops the knockout stage with 6 Booyahs. The first team to fill the final circle, ready to defend their homeland in the Indonesia arena. Standing beside them, defending champions Fluxo hold their ground, proving they can win on enemy turf. Thailand's all-gamers global rise as new faces of the region, while Buriram and Falcons recover from slow starts as all 3 Thai teams reach the final circle, waiting to strike. Team Solid and E1 remind us why Brazil rules the West. Every Brazilian team a contender for the crown. Movistar are 7 steps out from LATAM's shadow, finally joining the circle as their region's greatest hope. GOW, PE Sports, and Heavy fought until the end, with 3 Vietnamese teams proving consistency wins wars. And last, EVOS Divine, the hometown heroes, crushed doubts to clinch the last grand finals spot. 12 teams stand, 1 final safe zone until only 1 survives. Crowned as your FFWS Global Final 2025 champions.
Welcome everybody, the grand finals finally begin here at the Free Fire World Series Global Finals. Once again, it's AJ and as well as Getting Q here at the desk, welcoming all survivors from across the world. You saw what the stage looks like. You saw the energy being given from the Indonesian hometown teams.
I cannot believe the energy here in this arena. I mean, these Indonesian fans, they cannot wait to see the action. And looks like I got it a little wrong. Visually, it looked like RRQ had more fans here. But when we had some noise being made in the arena, the fans made it very clear they are here to see EVOS wake up once again. But that's going to be the biggest question. Will EVOS wake up? After dominating EWC, after putting up such a phenomenal performance, after Rasya literally made his first ever global debut and then ran away with the trophy, they have not done much just yet.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen them go into that dominant run that we were hoping for, the snowbally styles of run that we're so used to seeing. But at this point of time, we have to make sure that you guys, our survivors, for everyone out there, understands what is at stake and what's going on.
Format of the competition, you know what it is, baby. It's the grand finals. That means Champion Rush now enters the competition. To go in, activate Champion Rush, you need 80 points. Once you do that, you need to secure a Booyah in one of the following games. The first team to achieve this condition will be crowned champion. By the end of 10 games, if we do not have a team meeting this condition, the team with the highest number of points will be crowned the champion.
We'll see how many games are actually going to happen here today. It could end fast, it could end, well, pretty long, I'm not gonna lie, but let's look at the point system right now. You know the format, but there are tiebreaker rules.
Yeah.
First, we look at the number of Booyahs. Next, we look at the total eliminations, and finally, ranking in the final game. Eliminations get you 1 point, being that number 1 squad in the positional side is 12 points.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, right, every single elimination, 1 point. The dominators, those predators are definitely going to be alive out there. And all of that fire is for $1 million on the table. Of course, the lion's share for the champion, 300K. But this also includes what you see down there at the bottom, Gideon.
Yep, team of the day gets 1,000. But let's not forget about the grand finals MVP at 10,000 USD. And of course, the grand finals predator nominated by the one player who gets the most amount of eliminations by the end of the tournament with 5,000 USD in the bag. How are they going to do it? How are we looking to set up? Don't worry, we are still following the same unique active skill. Everybody must come up with a different active skill card. You cannot double up on the same thing.
This has been one of the biggest game changers here in our esports circuit, and I dare say it is one of the best changes we have seen. But obviously, now with the new meta shift as well, I have to say, it's definitely giving the unique active skill a run for its money. But we definitely do love this adjustment being brought in. The last thing we want to see is 4 Tatsuyas, or even worse, 4 Oscars running around out there.
Now we've come to a point in Free Fire World Series where mechanics is one thing, but truly, can you express yourself when there's so many different combinations? And especially with the teams that we have out here, the ones who perform the best, have the best chemistry, have the best preparation, and a really good understanding of everybody in the lobby on top of the meta. That's so much to get done for a professional esport.
On this screen, I definitely want to highlight Jonah from Buriram. This is his 6th appearance on a Free Fire World Series global stage. An unbelievable record set. He leads everybody else, and obviously with experience comes maybe a possibility of a domination.
I mean, talking about domination here, we're looking at some of the other teams, especially our Clash Squad winners, AG Global, dominating that side. And I'm looking at the subs, right? And I saw that even RRQ, they switched out iCal to put in 18 Deer once again. So again, these subs could be the difference maker, especially if they're looking for a different style, a different slice of life to get more points.
18 Deer became famous at EWC 2024 as he played under Gaimin Gladiators. He was known as the Clutch King back then. Will he be the clutch factor this time? We will have to wait and see. And of course, the final page of players, and you see EVOS Divine. The main focus here is going to be on Russia at EWC 2025. Without this super sniper, without this wonder kid, it would have been impossible. But he has been asleep. We had a couple of conversations with him, and he promised us, Gideon, that he is back at the top, and this time he wants to conquer. I hope he keeps his word.
Hey, let's not forget about Falcons here. If we're talking about people who are sleeping right now, where are the Falcons? Where's that dominating run we've been waiting for compared to Heavy? Because when Alan has come into this squad, he's completely changed the outlook of Vietnam. Now, let's look at today's game schedule. On game number 1, we start off with Bermuda, followed up by Nextera, Alpine, Purgatory, Solara, and Kalahari. Our last 4 maps will be randomized.
My God, the OGs are gonna have a heyday out there on Bermuda. This is the one map that is just so difficult to put the pin on exactly who's going to be able to go out there and dominate. If you look at the knockout stage, E1 definitely has been absolutely impressive with what they have done here on this map. EVOS has been as well as far as points are concerned, but not Booyahs. So thankfully, it's one of the earlier ones.
Oh yeah, the fans have brought out the drums. Thank God our earphones are somewhat noise canceling, because right now the energy, oh my, wait a minute, they're pulling it over. Look at the support here for Free Fire.
Wow, look at that. And it's not just one, there are multiple being erected at the very same time. What did they say, man?
I think the first one that we're seeing in front of us says Conquer.
FF Indo Bersatu, that means Free Fire Indonesia United. And they are going to conquer well, we will see Indonesia.
Oh my goodness, yeah, dude. As much as I love having that home ground energy, that home ground expectations, it weighs heavy on the shoulders of those who have to play. Oh my God, RRQ is coming up big too!
The kingdom of RRQ is here. Long live the king. And this is the fan base of EVOS Divine. I mean, come on. What a way to set up the atmosphere for the day, Gideon.
That is beautiful. On one side, RRQ with the iconic Rex Regum Kaon, and of course, EVOS on the other, and to unite them right at the center, directly opposite of our stage, a unity of Indonesians here today.
I think this is too beautiful, and whoever who came up with this needs to have a pat on their back. I am in love looking at this, and I think we've got the best seats in the house to admire this, Gideon.
Yeah, it looks incredible. And I think this is more for the players than anybody else. The mascot is out, the white tiger himself.
You gotta love it. And obviously, RRQ, EVOS Divine, they're gonna be elated to see their home ground fans in front of us, absolutely in support. First of all, yes, they do have their own fan base on RRQ and EVOS, but right in front, like you said, Indonesia united. It doesn't matter which one of the Indonesians gets up to the top. It doesn't matter which team pulls away the trophy, as long as it stays in Indonesia this time round.
Hey, they're looking to try and pull that away. Keep in mind that world champions come from everywhere across the world. We've seen it gone back to the west, come back to the east, go back to the west, and they held it there. And it's just a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure. I hope these teams are ready to battle it out here today. But first, we head on over to the room of pressure before we get in.
The pressure is everywhere. The noise, the weight. Every player feels it. Every team carries it. The higher they climb, to the heavier it burns. Every loss, every mistake, we have experienced it. And now there's no way out, only through.
Karena di last turnamen kita posisi 2, kita pasti lakuin yang terbaik di sini untuk bisa jadi juara.
Somos el mejor equipo en la historia de Latinoamérica.
Chúng tôi là một đội chân mạnh, lẫn cử viên cho chiếc vô địch tại giải đấu lần này.
ผมได้แชมป์โลกมาแล้ว 2 ครั้ง แล้วก็เกือบได้มาอีก 2 ครั้ง แล้วรอบนี้ผมไม่พลาดแน่
Para todos os meus haters que não me querem ver bem, aqui estou disputando meu terceiro FFWS. Se Deus quiser, vamos nos sair bem.
Karena ini tanah kita, kita bakalan jadi juara di sini.
This is not about survival anymore. Whoever that crush everything in their way will burn the brightest.
It's time to crush some doubts and burn bright out here. And by the way, Gideon, this is the first time ever we're bringing one of our global finals into Jakarta. We've been all the way into Thailand. We've been all the way into Brazil. But in Indonesia, the first time. And guess what? Indonesia has never won a Free Fire World Series global finals in the past. Maybe this is exactly what they need.
Hey.
Maybe that home ground buff will get it done.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Because at the same time, this could be foreshadowing for all intents and purposes, right? We have a little bit of time before we start getting into our flight path here. And I'm already excited to see how this is going to play out, because teams had had a lot of preparation times, plenty of scrims building up to this very moment. So it's not like they're walking into this game blind.
And of course, with the energy, I mean, I hope you guys can hear a little bit of the background, energy that we've got in here. The voices of the Indonesians, well, they're gonna make sure you guys hear it at the end of the day. It has to be unnerving to some of these teams out there. So the mental game, the mental fortitude needs to be really strong for these guys.
I think they have a total of 4 drums, 1 megaphone, and 24 rows of fans, all in synchronization to make sure that their voices are heard to their EVOS Divine team, who is sitting right at the edge closest to them. With that being said, boys and girls, survivors across the world, it is time. The countdown is here, and it's time to get ready. First things off, the classic, the default, the tropical island, similar to Southeast Asia, the one that everybody knows. It's Bermuda, as we start heading in to map number 1.
We go back to where it all started. It's time for Bermuda. And I hope it's time for some chaos. Flight path, please do not show any mercy. We want to see a couple of hot drops for sure. But what better hot drop than dictated by the flight path, which gives you no choice whatsoever. But no, it's gonna disappoint me at the start of the day.
Hey, we gotta keep it standard here, right? Let's just set the tone, set the bar for what is to be expected.
Yeah.
Look, so as you can see, hovering both over Factory and as well as Pochinok. Clock Tower being held on by E1 as Rimnam Village going to be dominated by RQ. In terms of hot drops, potential pieces of contact, wow, actually, Gao, a very wide spread by Bimasaki Strip.
Team Solid backing away. And it looks like they've managed to put enough distance between themselves and EVOS. And it looks like the jump pad comes out early as well. Launching themselves away. Heavy in a battle up against AG Global and the champions of Clash Squad. Off to a fantastic start. Is this the foreshadowing that we need?
Oh, I mean, they're coming off confident after Clash Squad, and they're not going to disappoint. First blood already through, and the crowd. I was expecting the Indonesian crowd to only be for the Indonesians, but they just love the action anyways.
Yeah, and of course, there are a lot of them are suddenly fans of AG as well. For what they saw on that Clash Squad stage, how do you not fall in love with them, man? Especially due to E1 finding GOW as well. Vietnam getting preyed upon very early on, but there's just one victim. The rest of the GOW players backing away. They don't want beef so early.
That's so interesting. Seeing E1 get into early engagements. You saw that Vit9 didn't even have a helmet or any body armor. He's going in a little naked, but he's got weapons. PE now trying to set up Lao Ho to go for the launcher before Coachil turns the corner. And you can hear that crowd once again. They want blood, and PE does not want to give it to them. You see the pinch down by the south side, and Ray takes out Nolan with the Bison in hand. PE Sports now in the middle of a scramble as RRQ from Hangar is coming to third from the south side.
Well, Nolan overstayed his welcome, but that also kept EVOS here for quite a while. Gracia from the shot from afar, and will connect. Gets the first knockdown, but the recovery is instantaneous from the side of RRQ. The battle between Indonesia starting off hot here at Hangar. Who would have thought this was a possibility? Gracia, a little bit aggressive here, but 18 years choosing not to engage.
And now, you see that Coachil, he's going to take first contact here. Walks into a double peek as Abe finds one. Gets a second into Ray. God trades back into Abe. But it's not over just yet. The cryo mine comes through. Finds one execution. Gracia, he needs to land a couple more shots. God, the only one to bring back the teammates here. An overall victory for EVOS. But RRQ, on the other hand, managing to get the revives down just in time.
Big brain flank from Aim God gets the double, and now the Grenadier of RRQ. Dude's trying to get away, but in the meantime, Heavy getting whooped by AG Global, who's not done just yet. 4 eliminations in hand. They are looking to wreck this lobby for sure. Currently leading with eliminations.
Bloody first round on all fronts here by the center of the ring. We're not done just yet as Alan in the middle of dealing with Baros, trying to deny him the opportunity to revive his teammates, but it's too late. And for Baros, he wins the 1v1. Heavy still in it to win it though. However, they only have one member left. BRU facing off against R7.
Back to back to back. Here comes the action. Jonah in a sticky little spot. Hax though, connected from afar. Wasana trying to look for one, but Moshi will drop Hax on the ground. Gameskin gets caught as well. The super sniper of Buriram is alive and kicking early in here today.
Oh, R7, they've already taken 2 casualties at this point as BRU, despite losing their captain, it doesn't mean they don't want blood. Della needs to win this 1v1. It's down to the wire. 1 hit to 2 hits. Della able to get the inhaler off. Wasana tops himself off. Second inhaler coming through. Dashes past with a valiant dash. Wasana secures the elimination.
Brings in a quick revive as well. Wasana multitasking just because he can. GOW though in a little bit of trouble. The flank is on, but the flank is taken down. Limit down on the ground. The sniper from the side of Falcon already taken out, and the bolt maker gets pulled out in terms of insurance by Falcon.
Oh my goodness, zone drops off. You can see inhalers coming through. They need to keep themselves topped up here. Without limit, they're not going to have their sniper to watch their backs. And Karora and Pina need to work to set up an angle as Demon Wayne, RIP, coming in hot cow, making sure that they're getting involved as soon as possible. I thought RIP had an amazing angle, and he did come in with a hot flank.
That was not a Falcon bolt maker. That was a GOW bolt maker raining down those lightning strikes on the Falcon players one after the other, cutting down their chances of survival. But they do manage to quickly disengage, and GOW have managed to play a little bit of recovery here, picking up 3 points, and so does Movistar R7 on their revive.
Again, action has not stopped from the get-go. Everybody has been at each other's throats. Now coming back to Gao, EVOS looking for the third by Shipyard. They reaffirm the information with the help of Ratio, who's looking for a different angle. AimGod and Ray looking to hold the front line for as long as possible. Hans needs to follow Demon. He's cut off from the angle and now gets gunned down as he's isolated, allowing EVOS to spill on through. There you have it. EVOS finding the quadra kill, eliminating Gao as your first squad to bow out.
Unbelievable. 7 eliminations straight here for EVOS.
Oh boy, EVOS. This is the momentum we were talking about. 7 eliminations in the bag. Everybody else is trying to keep up with them. AG at 5, but luckily, at least for Heavy, they managed to get the full recovery. However, coming into that second ring, which is about to reveal itself soon, they need to get loot. They need the equipment.
A quick hit list purchase here just to avoid more engagements. Falcons, they do not want more heat. Looking for the spot. Wait, no! They're going in for the chase. Joker's going to be in a lot of trouble. That hit list purchase, Falcons wants elimination points early. But E1 on the other hand was earlier. Dash straight to Vitten. Gets the knock with the M590. Jonah follows up as well. Buriram on fire.
Beautiful play coming out from Wasana alongside Moshi here. Now they just need to take out Vitten XP and they might have a full squad wipe. Now as they continue to jump around, Wasana finally takes him out and allowing Jonah to come back in. E1 managing to get enough revives still to keep themselves in the game.
Chad, can you believe what you're seeing? Back to back to back to back action. It just has not stopped. And Buriram out of nowhere now, equalizing with EVOS. 7 eliminations per squad here. And AG Global needs to catch up, but what a phenomenal start by the East.
Let's look at the next ring, because so far in the blue, it's coming from EVOS on that northern side from Plantation. Observation is where we see the full recovery of Falcons as they're trying to cut through Bivasakti's strip. However, in the center, you see that BRU are already in position alongside with Fluxo on the southern far south side, and right smack in the middle is Team Solid. These are dangerous positions as the West has shown that they know how to read the ring and they know how to find a god spot when they need one.
I was just wondering, where in the world is Fluxo? Where in the world are the teams from the West? Looks like they are playing together here in the far off corner of Kotatua. Will Fluxo take advantage? AG Global dropping by as well. Quickly flipping the script into a East versus West battle this time round, allowing Team Solid to be the third party in the situation. Goldmaker brought upon by Team Fluxo, and AG now in a lot of trouble.
They're trying to chunk out as many people as possible as MT7 goes onto the south side to find on the low ground maybe a common angle to bait them into. Butsin needs to buy a little bit of time, but AG take the far north side to deny the angles. They notice what MT7 is trying to do. It's going to be a bit of a long trip because their big problem is due, and they know it, and they want to take him out as soon as possible.
The bigger problem is potentially Barros here. Barros has got the M79 grenade launcher, waiting for the timing. He cannot wait for too long. Cypher and Team SR trying to find a little bit of revenge here after Dew gets taken down. No sniper in a CQC is not a big problem, but no Cypher is a big problem.
What an A1. It hit all 3 of them. No abilities to use. Wait, no, Team Solid now getting involved from the side of Kotatua on the west half of the map. Barros finally out. And that's 11th place for AG here in map number 1. Revenge for Clash Squad yesterday.
Champions at Clash Squad, but in Battle Royale, it's definitely a different story here today. A weak start, but EVOS up against Heavy. The battle in the East continues once again, and the White Tigers looking for more prey. AimGod strikes yet again. This man is on fire. 5 eliminations, and he does not look like he wants to stop.
It's great to see AC80s, man. It's great to see it, but Heavy now having to deal with EVOS has not been looking good as Rasha with a BSK in hand. Oh, and even tags Kabi, making sure that he's put in his place. EVOS, this was the momentum we were waiting for all season.
Velko Shield flanking around from the right, but the jump pad allows a quick evacuation of the area. Heavy in a lot of trouble just moments ago, but EVOS, if they go in for the chase, they might just end up right in front of E1 Sports. And we just saw the flag of AG Global being burned on the LED screen right behind us. I mean, that's a beautiful addition to the tournament, I have to say.
Hey man, if it happens in the game, it's got to happen on the stage as well. That's the production we're talking about here. Every year, it only gets better. But now we need to start talking about this third potential ring. We've got 3 seconds left. And now, I think everybody is thinking, oh man, I feel like everybody who's played center ring has this spot. We saw that E1 is looking to gatekeep, and you know how strong the West is at gatekeeping other teams.
Speaking of production, once again, the best production in the world of Free Fire tournaments so far. And I have to say, the observers are on fire today. I have not complained a single time. There were no missed opportunities, no missed battles, and you gotta love it, man.
Hey, chat, salutes to the observers. Show them some love.
Let's go.
And now, as we see the warning coming through, the zone is going to shrink. And EVOS understand that they are running on some very big points. Every placement from this point onwards is going to be so worth their time. If they get a booyah, even better. And that means more eliminations will start to roll through. But they also understand that with this large launch pad, they're going to be able to start making it in to the ring. They just don't know how heavily contested it is. As you can see, everybody is here to play.
Absolutely, man. So clearly, the team booster was in play, managing to stay outside the circle for so long and barely take any damage off of that. But EVOS in a tad bit of trouble as they back away. Maybe Heavy wants revenge, but E1 Sports wants a piece of EVOS. Been tagging up Coach Hill already. Rastia backing away as well. Aim gone with a sliver of health, but thankfully the Supermans are on them. And RRQ comes to save EVOS.
They've come to save EVOS. They're in a bad position, but now it's an all-out battle. Foul 7 is down first. Dude holds the back line. Abe goes down finally as he trades against Leon. EVOS, they smell blood in the water. They see 2 weak teams, and Heavy just kept in place. Allen is waiting for that right moment as Baal falls to Fit 9 and Fit next B. The Fit brothers holding strong in one compound. Wait, it's Falcons. They're here to play too.
Falcons out of nowhere, swooping on in, looking for a fray, and they found it. Riptide Rhythm drops 18D as well. Peanut takes the slice. Karoro finds Abe, and bye-bye RRQ, says Falcons. What an unfortunate turn of events for the home ground squad.
Wee-woo. Hear that alert? It's teams overheating. EVOS was in an awful position, and E1 was more than happy. They just weren't expecting so many people to get involved on the outside when the next ring has already been predetermined, and it's not over just yet. In this same compound, we see that EVOS is trying to hold out. Eventually, Falcons will need to make a choice to make themselves go towards the ringside, where you see R7 and Team Solid holding each other at bay, and that could be really awful for Heavy as well, because they can't rotate either.
Yeah, 3 teams are about to get whooped by this zone. EVOS in a lot of trouble, sending out a Riptide Rhythm courtesy of Rastia, which limit response through, breaking down the defenses of Aimgod. Pina actually tanking the blue, taking a little bit of damage, and now Falcons staying away from the circle, but that's a bad idea. But Karoro on fire, Pina all hop on in, and both Indonesian squads out early.
A great feint coming in from the Falcons, 2 on the outside to maintain pressure, 2 flank on the inside to push them out like toothpaste from a tube. Heavy, the next to fall as well, and now we look towards the west and the east sides. The west side dominated by PE, Team Solid, and R7, who are currently only running all 4 of their members. Wait, one of them is missing. Where is he? Oh, he's on the outside in the blue. I'm guessing, yep, it's Joker, who's looking to steal away some elimination.
Yeah, man's definitely still clowning around at this point of time, but he has to be a little bit more careful.
Oh my god.
Falcons on the opposite end, but the battle between PE Sports and 2 squads from the west make it 3 if Fluxo decides to hop on into this battle as well. PE is about to be cooked if they don't use a jump pad and quickly reposition.
No, they're getting sandwiched from every angle at this point. They're even getting shot from the people on the complete opposite side. BRU is getting involved in this, is on fire, taking down an arrow, and Riptide Rhythms from halfway across the world is ruining Vietnam's odds. Nolan, team wipeout.
Riptide Rhythm just ripped the opportunity, ripped the chances of PE Sports apart, and now here comes Movistar R7, one after the other. The time turner pulled out just like what they were doing in Clash Squad, but it's not gonna work out just as easy. Nick still standing, the final survivor, but the circle takes out the rest of his team members. And Team Solid not looking so solid now.
Wait, Falcons just jumped over the heads of Fluxo as once again the arsenal now open. They need to start contesting. Team Solid finally goes down as Guerrero finds the shots. And now BRU, they decide it's time. We gotta start moving our way into the chalet next door as Bops is gonna get taken down by the Ordnance, allowing BRU to get in position. GU able to take out 2 members already. Falcons down and out, and it's now down to the classic BRU facing up against Luxo.
And this was the one storyline we didn't touch on just yet. The storyline of Buriram and Luxo. And they end up in the first game here at Bermuda to take each other on. And your 2-time world champs, your defending world champs, starts off global finals, grand finals with a grand booyah.
And look at that, you can see which is in. He is hyped. He knew that launcher was going to come in handy, and he was making plays alongside with GU to keep him in check. Luckily, they got Bops there. Cool as a cucumber. He's telling the rest of the team, yo, it's just game number 1. Great booyah. Let's keep up that energy. Because again, early game, not much contention. Only 1 point of contact before making it in towards the ring. BRU slowly but surely actually rose up to become elimination leaders by ring number 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And then all hell broke loose at the end.
Absolutely, and I think you touched on a great point there, that Buriram were leading the eliminations even into that final circle, which means even though Fluxo does walk away with the booyah, Buriram will still be smiling because to them at this point of time, no booyah, no problem. Let's take a look and see exactly how the performance was here for the players on the side of Fluxo, because they definitely had a very solid game plan, unlike Team Solid, who spent a little bit too much time outside in the blue.
It cost them. I mean, yes, they did spend some time in the blue, but they found their initial position, but they gave up their position because they were looking for eliminations. They noticed very quickly, hey, we haven't had much contact ever since ring number 1.
Yeah, man.
So let's get involved here. Now, let's look at that final moment here between the 2 teams in their little clash squad of their own, because I want to see that launcher coming in huge, man. Oh my goodness, right when it mattered the most.
I mean, if you are the reigning, defending, back-to-back champs, this is the best case scenario. You start the day off and you are starting off with the peak of excitement as well as confidence. Yesterday was a little bit of a disappointment when they faced off up against AG Global and they took that 2nd place in our Clash Squad Grand Finals. And of course, some questions were there. What's that going to do to the mental state of Fluxo? Is that going to get them disappointed, or is that going to light a super bonfire under their butts so that they go all out in the opener of the day? Well, I think it is the latter, because that was done very efficiently. And I think a little scary as to how efficient they were getting to that final circle when there was so much of chaos.
Of course, but I'm more curious of what that final score is going to look like, right? You saw the BRUs coming out as elimination leaders. I'm not sure whether Fluxo was able to steal away enough E-Lives. We saw them actually take out Falcons to make that top 2 actually happen. And unfortunately for Kuro, he just got hit too many times, right? E1 on the other side, again, very disappointing start from them. They had a solid game plan. They had that early contact that they were looking for, but they just could not find the God spot like everybody else.
Let's take a look at the standings here so we can answer your question.
Wow.
They made that final second comeback around the final corner. 9 eliminations, 12 points, 21 in total at the top. Buriram does not rip that one away from them, but instead, look at the story of the East. Falcons and Buriram, both on 19 apiece on that 2nd and 3rd spot.
Yeah, pretty crazy how close it was for Team Falcons, because again, they were the ones who had to technically reset 2 times, well, half reset 2 times in the middle of that fight. Great plays all across the board, but I think that, again, feels like there's too much gasoline being poured on such a small fire here in map number 1.
Absolutely, man. I want to highlight EVOS as well, but we'll come back to them in a little bit. Booyah team stats here. A124, Skylar, Steffi, Oscar. And I have to say, this Steffi was a lifesaver for Fluxo in a couple of situations. Those nades, they're definitely looking out for players like Dudes to kind of be roaming around with the M79, ready to pop them with the lethals. But they were ready for the battle. But one of the more effective manner of jumping into the battle when you're dealing with an Oscar on the opposite side in the hands of Wasana, you pop that A124 and Bob's had that on time.
Oh yeah, let's not forget MVP coming into GU, because again, we saw that initial pick. Oh no, one of our team members got knocked down by Ordnance. Instantly, GU on the scene, not only to provide covering fire, manages to save the down teammate and denies more Ordnance from their opponent, allowing the launcher to come into play. With that being said, low damage numbers because they've been playing really, really chill the entire time, but with the SVD in hand, he's landing just enough shots to keep him at bay.
GU with his 5th appearance here on the grand finals of a phenomenal journey in Free Fire World Series. Twice with Magic Squad, 3 times with Fluxo, with this being the 3rd. And this is no better start for them and no better way to start the day off as a whole, because the 2 main teams that many people have got their eyes on, Buriram as well as Fluxo, it was poetic seeing them in that final circle together.
It really is. Again, it feels like we're replaying moments in history time and time as time goes by. And I think that even Falcons, they wanted to be part of it. It's like, no, we're trying to rewrite it here. Fluxo said, no. It's between us, sir. Please step out of the arena. Now, I did notice that amongst a lot of these coaches, worried looks, seeing how aggressive and arguably more bloody than what was expected. From the Fluxo side, they're less worried. Their pre-preparation came into play very nicely. But for everybody else, instantly, hey, there are adjustments that need to be made.
And now, I think it's a good time to bring up EVOS, right? Because on this highlight, we will be able to see quite a lot of them, because in the initial parts of the engagement, EVOS was doing a lot. And they had built up to more than 10 eliminations, but only walked away with 3 placement points. Unlike RRQ that got eliminated early, EVOS launched themselves up towards the top of the leaderboard, which is super impressive.
Oh yeah, again, it's giving me like flashbacks of what happened during EWC and even the entirety of Spring, right? This is how they like to play. Go all out right from the very start. See how far we can get. And if we could snowball that lead and double it at the very end, it's way more worth it than just doing nothing.
Absolutely, man. And of course, for the team that did barely anything in this first lobby, not by their choosing, RRQ, fate just wasn't on their side. They had unfortunately dropped into a situation where they helped out EVOS, and then they got stuck in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, they did. They did. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised that RRQ wanted to get involved there, knowing that Team Solid was at their back in the first place, right? Let's look at the circle analysis, because right from the get-go, you see that everybody had a pretty decent spot. However, BRU, they played this before. Oh, a circle around peak, we know exactly what we want, and that's why you saw them fight 4 mil right at the beginning against R7. Afterwards, their movements across the map was heavily centered towards where the next ring was, and just notice all the teams on that left-hand side. They kept on getting pulled deeper and deeper into Cape Town.
Yeah, no doubt at all. And this was that moment where RRQ got involved in the fight with EVOS, and obviously preying on E1, they thought this was going to be an easy thing. They did look at their backs and it's like, okay, coast is clear. Yeah, coast is clear as far as your eyes can see, but the jump pad that Falcons used to literally swoop on in and land on their heads was unexpected, right? And we could see dudes kind of hanging back, waiting with the grenade launcher, but the counter for that was just so beautiful. The Steffies were popped. None of those nades out of Mr. Dudes could do anything to these players. RRQ, they had a grand plan. Unfortunately, these other squads had the fantastic counter of Steffi.
Oh yeah, they were just adding things into the pot. Every time they were trying to concoct that potion, just a little bit more before it finally blew up in their faces. However, I am surprised about the overall performance. Why didn't Heavy get involved? They really stayed passive even though they heard everything that was happening, especially when the Falcons got involved as well. I think there was a prime opportunity there to really start hurting. You saw Alan just waiting by that window and just slowly harassing members who were walking by.
Yeah, welcome to the world and gameplay of Vietnam. That's just Heavy. That's just how Vietnam functions. I mean, sometimes they're super hot, and then most times they're kind of cold. But hopefully, that is not the strategy that they're going to be carrying in some of these other matches. Maybe the lesson was learned early, and that's a good thing for them.
Hey, a good thing to learn, because again, we still have plenty of matches to play. Now we go over into Nextera. Again, plenty of compounds to play around. The circle can be sometimes unforgiving, but for the most part of it, everybody has a rough idea of what they want to do. From early aggression, I don't know if game number 2 is where we're going to see teams just kind of chill out for a moment, right? Because now that you've got that first taste on a map like Bermuda, we're expecting it to kind of spill over for the next 2 maps before the reset.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I can't believe the pacing that we are taking through the grand finals here. Because it's not like we're speeding things up, but it feels like it's just breezing through, man. I can't believe we are already approaching game number 2. Nextera, obviously, the futuristic city is gonna be a tad bit more difficult to maneuver around. Not many teams have found full mastery to play and dominate on this map just yet, like what we saw in Bermuda. I do expect a little bit of a slower pace in Nextera.
Well, and that's why I'm looking at teams, especially from Vietnam. They know how to make this map work in their favor. They know how to utilize those angles. And I think after everything that we saw in map number 1, there is a, well, I don't want to say it's just the Indonesian saying, but a lot of influence comes from it. Gas, 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 or gas, gas, gas. They're just pouring fuel on the fire, and it's infecting everybody with how hyped this arena is.
Speaking of fuel on fire, the team that is usually on fire at Nextera is the one and only Buriram United Esports. From the knockout stage, they have brought in 2 Booyahs to their own. And of course, let's take a look at some comparison here. Free Fire World Series 2023, Buriram versus Team Fluxo. The average of points kind of leaning towards Buriram.
Exactly, and আমরা আসলে সেই মুহূর্তগুলোর কথাই বলছিলাম। FFW স্ট্যাটসও কিন্তু আমাদের সামনে হাজির হয়েছিল, এন্ড আমরা কিন্তু দেখছিলাম কিছু প্রিভিয়াস ছিলাম যে বেশ ভালো ম্যান পাওয়ার নিয়ে তো সার্ভাইভ করছে টিম ফ্যালকন। সো তারা যদি শেষ পর্যন্ত প্রপার জোন সার্কেলের ভেতরে এন্ট্রি করতে পারে, একটা ভালো গ্রাউন্ড যদি তারা ক্যাপচার করতে পারে, তবে কিন্তু ফ্যালকনরাও সেখানে স্টেক হোল্ডার ছিলেন বুইয়া মেকিং এর ক্ষেত্রে। তবে হুট করেই যেন একটা লঞ্চ প্যাড জোন সার্কেলের বাইরে নিয়ে গেল এবং সেখানেই যেন আসলে বিদায় নিতে হলো টিম ফ্যালকনসদেরকে। অ্যান্ড আমরা কিন্তু পরবর্তী গেমের জন্য খুবই প্রস্তুত রয়েছি এবং প্লেয়ার্সরাও প্রস্তুত। এই মুহূর্তে রাশিয়াকে দেখা যাচ্ছে তিনি যেভাবে আসলে প্রেশার ফেস করেছিলেন এবং তার টিম মেম্বাররা বিশেষ করে এইম গড তাকে নিয়ে
in 2021 when it was Buriram and they were a giant back then and they were obviously not taking it slow, becoming the world champs. But of course, you guys tell us as well before we continue on with that storyline, who are your top 3 FFWS Global Finals players? Drop it in the comment section below. You know, are you going to be picking a player from the side of LATAM or from Indonesia or even maybe Vietnam?
Here's the thing, right? I've got a little bit of a... I'm a little flipping it floppy, right?
Yeah.
In 2021, I'm telling you, Moshi and Jonah, 2 players that I really admire how they play, how they lead the team, and how they kind of set the pace.
Yeah.
And then I'm just looking at, man, Bops and MT7, a lot of parallels can be drawn between the 2.
I do not disagree with you at all, man. FFWS Singapore 2021 champions as the Phoenix Force. And in 2022, FFWS Sentosa, Buriram, runner-up as EVOS Phoenix as AAA. Attack all around, took the crown. And in these times, Brazil was not really a pain in their backs just yet. It was those years that came after that where things get a little bit dicey, right? Because 2022, Bangkok, this is where Magic Squad first showed up but could not rise to the occasion, walking away with the 4th spot. But that was when they really showed the world that Brazil is here not just to play, but they want to dominate. And of course, Magic Squad, Free Fire World Series 2023 Bangkok, stepping into Thai home soil to take the trophy away from Thailand. I mean, yeah, they wanted to get it done, but to get it done in that way was a little heartbreaking for the Thai fans.
I mean, and that's where we start to see this legacy coming in from Fluxo actually begin. Dropping pretty close, honestly, a little too close for my comfort against Team Solid. But they've met each other before, they know exactly what to expect. But here by Intellect 7 turn, R7 back at it again, now facing up against Heavy. Heavy on the outer rim. Oh, wait, hold on. Russia, he's already down as AG already achieved first blood. Cochil as well goes down too.
Well, AG Global not too pleased at all with the results from the previous matchup, and they won blood early, hunting down the players. On the side of EVOS, one after the other. Team SR down and out already. Cypher almost eliminated, pulls out a glue wall in the nick of time. Baros drops by for the backup, and two players chasing down Aimgod, looking for the point on him, and he will be found by Mr. Cypher's AUG.
Ah, man, it's going to be a slow start coming in from EVOS, hot start coming in from AG, but let's cut on back because Hax is finally down with an M18 in hand. See how Allen is going to have to play this out of his mind here, especially since Joker and as well as Kabi, who ends up going down. Nothing much you could really do. Allen unable to respond in time. Don't Cry is going to have to get involved here as Mufasa is holding a really far off angle, but there's just too many things in the way to safely protect the rest of his team. Don't Cry, he's making sure that he's watching the exits, and now that he's been flushed out, Della is going to take the space.
Allen up top. As the shorty in hand, looking for Games King. It's all about timing here. Mufasa out in the open as well. We thought Heavy was taking a little bit too soft of an approach earlier on, but I guess they're trying to flip the script for themselves this time around. Allen with that high ground, spots out Joker, gets the initial first few shots, follow up by Mufasa. One more down, and a very important player of all, the sniper of Movistar. As Mufasa now catches sight of Della. The plasma gun doesn't deliver just yet. And what a turnaround. But unfortunately too late, and Movistar R7 Latam crashing again.
Heavy. They've learned a lot from Clash Squad. The feints that we see from them, the crossfire setups, just to make sure that if you fall into our trip zone, you're gone. Rashia coming back for a little bit more action, takes out Cypher here, and the crowd erupts with this like, oh no! He gets blasted down just before then. Ray able to actually pick him up just in the time. Unfortunate scenario to be in, but at least they got the elimination.
Dude, you gotta respect the recovery off of EVOS here. After initially losing players like Rashia, they're right back in it on that revival, and they're not even thinking twice, right? Straight up jumping into yet another battle, picking up those very crucial points.
Like Lazaria, we now see Gao on the lower end of this compound. Ooh, Demon taking a pretty big shot there. As E1 just trying to make sure that Ordnance is going to be traded back. They already have the contract ready to go. Vitten9 holding down. Where's his brother though? Where's XP? He's holding the stairs, and now Hans and as well as Demon now make contact. And XP is the first to go down as Vitten9 needs to quickly get into position. Leon on the second floor and having to deal with Demon finally wins his 1v1. Time Turner is already out, but now RIP wait! Vitten9 here to try to save the day. Doesn't take him down.
GG. Leon turning things around up against Demon, but now he's gonna get caught out. And down you go. And E1, you gotta respect the instantaneous recovery on those revivals that came through off of that vending machine, or else they would be toast right now.
And while this is happening, it looks like EVOS Divine has been hovering around Plazaria, trying to make sure that they can try and claim this contract of their own. I'm not sure if they're the ones who threw it out. No, they're definitely not the ones here. As Aimgod and Ray find revenge. GOW now taking a lot of eliminations here. They didn't expect Ray to be coming up from the top. Gonna be taken out too. That's a quadra kill already for Ray. 8 eliminations once again, trying to just lead the pack.
Yeah, man, I mean, excuse me, sir. What are you doing at the vending machine there behind your glue walls? Let me take a peek. Unfortunately, he didn't just take a peek. He took them down. And EVOS now leading the leaderboard with the most number of points. 20 eliminations in total. Only 3 out of the 23 coming through from placements. I mean, if you want to dominate, that's a fine way to dominate.
Hey, speaking of domination, look at Russia, King of the Skies right now as Aimgod gets put down by Lao Ho with a single headshot here. And now they immediately take him out. As GOW looks to recover, Russia is trying to make sure that this territory that PE is walking through, you're not getting to Ray without some form of damage. And LBT goes down because of it. Unfortunately for Ray, Nolan is there with a Trogon in hand to say, nah, stop right there, sir.
Well, they can't afford to get taken down, and Rastia knows that well. Some shades of EWC there as the Wonder Kid Rastia, the sniper of the squad, backs away to play recovery to bring the rest of his team members back in it, as Coach Heal will be the distraction. But he comes across his brother's RRQ, and obviously this is not going to be an easy run for him. Here comes that plushie out of Nero, making sure he stops all of his glue walls. but just that one glue wall up against the army of RRQ is not going to be enough as Coachil gets shut down.
Yep, but it's not going to be the entire squad wipe just yet at the very least, right? EVOS, they may still be leading the pack currently, but they need to make sure that they recover because now the first ring is about to end. The second ring is going to be a huge shift, especially when we're trying to figure out the direction of which it's going to pull towards. So far, as we see that RRQ has been taking the back foot, really taking their time with this. They have been throwing the contracts out at the bare minimum. E1 has marked at least one of them. At this point, we've got to see whether this south side is going to be just the same or whether E1 has recovered well and managed to find their own spots. Because when we look at it, it pulls towards the southwest side. They're actually a lot closer than you would have liked.
Yeah, Falcon's about to have a party here. Because if they don't use a launch pad or a jump pad to cross over Team Solid and EVOS, it's gonna get dicey. Speaking of EVOS, still hanging on with Rassia. Team Solid on the chase. Rassia looking for a vending machine, still far away from getting 2-1. Clearly not having a jump pad and not having a chance to survive as he gets sprayed down.
I mean, teams who had took these early engagements and have not been able to recover are still on the run. EVOS, I mean, R7, unfortunately, that was a full squad wide coming in from Heavy, but more importantly, teams like Gao, even for now, they finally find the full recovery as well. They don't want to start chain dying just yet. Running into the clutches of another squad! The firing line of RRQ to defend the kingdom here in Indonesia.
Out of the pan into the kingdom of RRQ as they get burned down to the ground. AG Global with Cypher all alone, but the vending machine not too far. But alas, the players of RRQ camping on that vending machine, taking Cypher out of the equation. And that is definitely not looking good for the champions of Clash Squad.
Hey, but RRQ, the fans are happy with this recovery from the previous game, and hopefully they make it into the next ring, because so far, the west side is starting to get a little heavily populated. E1 looking to reposition into another house as BRU trying to control two compounds at once.
This is E1 Sports about to be in a little bit of trouble as they come into nading distance of Buriram. Question is, does Captain Jonah have the M79? Does Captain Jonah have enough of those lethals to chuck at them? Yeah, he shows it to me. He's like, yeah, bro, I got the nade ready.
M7's ready to go. I think worst yet, pretty sure they inoculate each other. Bops, the first to go down, but a good recovery coming in from GU and puts in to make sure that Dian doesn't get any more. Dian has to win this now, but Butsin, he's got enough EP, and Butsin puts him down into the dirt.
Wonderfully played by Gucci and didn't even need to wait for the rest of the backup. But you can also respect the play from Fluxo out here. Not sending so many of your players to go in for the hunt, just in case there was a trap set up there, which we've seen executed by so many of these squads so far.
And on this west side, just north of Grav Labs, where you see RQ hold, 3 teams in one perfect horizontal line. BRU, E1, and Heavy, who have been playing on that outer circle. Hopefully, based on what we've seen how accurate it is on the reads of the ring, they're hoping that BRU has got that read right. As long as that we see Falcons coming out in towards the Grav Lab side, right? Just a different compartment as they slowly move to the center.
Falcons, great rotation to find the safe zone. And they don't really have to move too close to RRQ in a situation like this, but the circle will bait them in, pulling them closer into a potential skirmish up against RRQ. And I don't know if that's a good thing for RRQ.
Yeah, and I'm more worried about teams who want to come from the north side, because that's where we see Fluxo actually having the most amount of space to work with. Heavy, they're like, thank God, we don't have to move too much here, but we need to make sure that we conceal our presence. E1, we saw what happened the last time. They like gatekeeping, and they will go out of their way, even under heavy gunfire, to try and steal some eliminations at this point. BRU notice what is going to happen, and they might just pounce with all of the commotion happening right at their doorstep.
Yeah, FGL straight to the walls, but E1 will not look to get into a full-on skirmish with Heavy just yet, and Heavy sticking to the very edges of the zone. And the good thing of this play is they don't need to worry about their backs just yet, unless, of course, someone surprises them with a jump pad. But the likelihood of someone dropping outside of the circle is very low. So Heavy, this is a fantastic rotation for them for the time being.
Wait for the time being, because again, when is Fluxo going to start peeking? As we see that Heavy actually wants to make sure that they eliminate the angles here, as they actually want the position of E1. They saw what happened the last time. They have the same mindset. UAV glue walls come through, but now even the Valiant Dash has been busted through. Luckily, a quick reinforcement by E1 to allow Vit9 to recover, as we see the Cryo Mine being thrown out by BRU. The commotion is really stirring the pot. And if, oh my goodness, great nade coming in from Alan, and now the entry as they start walking through, clearing out room by room. Another nade to take him out. Pops taking out Kabi in the back, unfortunately. Fluxo finally getting involved, but this forces Heavy and as well as E1 to just cut this compound in half.
Oh, beautiful throw on that narrow, the plushie straight towards Vit9. No defenses for you, sir, just yet. And a 3v1 up against Vit9 XP, dropping him down onto the ground. No pickup available for E1 in the east versus west between Heavy and E1. Heavy will take the ground.
Now we look at Falcons Team Solid. Lower ground by Falcons, higher second floor and third floor held by Team Solid. And look at where Limit is, right? Just making sure that nobody can just walk past these windows without feeling some form of a fire. And I'm pretty sure those team boosters are helping him stay alive a little bit longer on top of the med kits. But how many resources are you willing to use before you reposition? Now the launchers are starting to take shape, and the Cryo Mine as well, just to allow and soften up, tenderize these pieces of meat. Maal takes out On Fire somehow from one of the windows. Time Turner looking to regroup the team.
What a fantastic Time Turner pull just to make sure they block off the access off the door. But it cannot stop the Oscar. But what will stop him is a gunshot straight to the chest as he gets dropped. Nick taken out of the equation. Hack down on the ground. Falcons, they want a re-engagement here. Karoro breaking down those glue walls, going for the pickup of his own money.
Oh my god.
Can't get there in time. And Falcons just left with one final survivor. And revenge time. RRQ is here for Karoro's head.
Oh my goodness. The worst time possible at 10% of his HP. Falcons' last member, Karoro, is just going to tank through it, as we see that RRQ are making sure that this small but very effective blockade is going to take out another position. Falcons are done. That's another position earned. They just want 4 more, and they find it here as they now eliminate another squad. That's going to be Team Solid at 6.
Karoro knew his fate was sealed, and he hopped on in there, got one knock first, and helped out RRQ. At the end of the day, the East still pretty much together up against the West.
Oh my goodness.
But Heavy up against Buriram though, this one's gonna get a tad bit dicey. Fluxo on the opposite side of all of this chaos, sitting pretty.
And Heavy, they're taking plenty of damage as well, as BRU need to get involved. It's about how much damage can Alan provide. Jonah will get picked up, and hopefully he makes it back into the ring before somebody snipes him out, because the commotion here between Fluxo, PE, and as well as RRQ might cause a bit of problems. Storm clouds have been thrown towards the south side, but this final ring, it's so awkward. One compound, one arsenal to play around, bodies of water encompassing at least 40% as RRQ finally bow out.
And PE Sport in this final circle, but Buriram up against Fluxo. On the landing, they stick a fantastic triple glue wall. Nade on the way. No Steffi on the side of Buriram. Glue wall melt is laid out as well. Moshi down on the ground. This is trouble time for Buriram.
They can't keep on doing this. The glue wall melters are getting so much value as they stacked at least 2 on top of the Stefia. Try to power through the damage, waiting for a motion. And unfortunately, the motion of the blue is headed towards the southwest side.
And PE Sport just staying out of this mess, waiting to see who is that final contender up against them from that lower ground. Fluxo, on the other hand, just trying to find a better angle up against Buriram. But that will drag PE Sports right out, and GU will say goodnight, bye-bye, as he gets sprayed down.
Everybody's taking casualties except for PE. Somebody needs to look to their side. As you see that Fluxo have decided we're going to full commit to the opposite end here, as BRU tank and even launch themselves just south of them on the slightly higher ground. PE, this is hunting ground time. They need to get aggressive, but unfortunately, they know that BRU is waiting at the top. They're trying to influence Fluxo to go to that side, but they refuse. Pops goes down first. MT7 alongside with Nolan put down to 1 as MT7 finally goes down, and PE, 1 member down. It's a 3v2v1.
A big mistake by Bobs, taking himself out with the grenade launcher, and then instantaneously took the possibility of a booyah away from Fluxo. But now, Wasana, double strike, first with a nade, second with a gun, and he goes in. Time to a pull. Steffi popped as well to stop those nades. Get out, but Wasana, one of the best rushes in the world, sets himself up for a 1v1 up against Lao Ho, and the M590 fully mastered finally by King Wasana, looking for that booyah that they missed earlier on, and the first shot secured with a second. Ram makes their comeback and secures the booyah.
They're here to play. They're here to play. Wasana take it all in. They silenced this crowd one more time, and even that crowd was ready to give it to him. PE so close. Numbers advantage. Everything that they wanted was going in their direction in that top 3 scenario, but the end of it all, it just was not enough.
Like I said at the start of this map, the dominators of Nextera, the most consistent on Nextera, Team Buriram, walking into this global finals, grand finals with 2 booyahs in their hands at this map from the knockout stage. And clearly, that was no fluke. And many a times they could have gotten taken down, especially in that final battle. The 3-way which PE Sports literally sat out of. Because if PE had gotten involved, that would have been disastrous for the players of Buriram. But just with 2, they bought enough time for themselves, and as fate would have it, PE picked a fight with Fluxo.
PE was playing it as honest as they can, right? Yeah. We're just going to interact with one person at a time. I'm not going to, dilly-dally and start cheating on other people. But Buriram, again, the decision at the very...
गेम प्ले সম্পর্কে সবাই একটা ভালো ধারণা আছে তো ওয়াসানা কিন্তু আবারও ওয়ার্ল্ড সিরিজে ওর গেম প্লে আসলেই কি ওর আইকিউ
They pulled through at the end.
And what Bobs did in that final moment is definitely going to linger on his mind a little bit longer than he would want. Because if you take yourself out with a grenade launcher in a moment like that, you just literally gave away a booyah opportunity. And this is where mental fortitude really matters, because you are literally on the grandest Free Fire stage of them all. In all the years of Free Fire World Series, this is the biggest, and you unfortunately slipped up. So if he does not put a smile back up on his face and bring that confidence back, I'm going to be a tad bit worried for Fluxo.
I'm not worried about the Western teams when it comes down to vibes, right? Because that's something that's inbuilt into them, right? It's something that they feel in their blood, the passion for the game and also the mental fortitude. Let's look at the game standings, because even though he took himself out, PE Sports come out huge, 22 Fluxo. I mean, it's not the big 2-0 that they were looking for, but good enough. They still come out positive from it. Buriram only managed to get 20.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, PE Sports in the previous matchup, they only managed to walk away with 5 points. So this is a huge step up for them to get back into the race for that top spot, to get back into the race for that champion rush condition. But the sensibility as well as the consistency of gameplay from both Buriram and Fluxo, we all need to salute them.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it is just unbelievable how they are able to maintain consistency at a level like this.
Yep, it's the kill switch, right? And that's what I feel that these teams, these veteran teams who've been together for a decent amount of time, they understand that all these knockouts don't matter until we get to the grand finals. And look how close it is between Buriram United and Fluxo. Now PE Sports part of that equation here, but they need to get into the 30s before they can even be part of the conversation when you're talking about Falcons, who didn't do too well in either of those games, but good enough to put themselves at 4th.
What a phenomenal jump here for PE Sports. I think they were somewhere around the 8th or the 9th spot earlier on. And this is a massive leap for them because of what they just did. And it was all about decision making, right? It's not about whether or not you can get into a battle. Can you walk out of the battle alive? Can you walk out of the battle with those eliminations on your side. Nero, A124, Steffi, Oscar. I think Buriram has cracked the code here with what is that perfect combination of active skills needed out there.
I think that this is something that they've been developing for a little bit of a time.
Yeah.
We saw them actually pick up the A124 alongside with the Steffi here, and then the
Yes.
Nero was kind of a give and take sometimes, right?
Yeah.
They leaned into the Casties even when Nero first came out, and that's when everybody was the rave was, we get A124, we get Nero, you basically can't do anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just combo wombo.
You know, both Fluxo as well as Buriram, both of them two-time world champs each, right? But Buriram has an edge over them because they were also two-time runner-up. Buriram almost became four-time world champs, which is absolutely ridiculous in terms of what a squad can do. But although these two squads are so phenomenal, so mighty in the world of Free Fire, at EWC, they came in 8th and 9th, bro. All right, that was ridiculous. But this is that redemption arc for them.
I mean, they were looking for the redemption arc, and I think they're slowly starting to find, you know, that pep in their step. Just notice that Moshi and even Jonah, right? They're coming in with assists overall. They are playing for those position points. They are looking to farm. But unless they make a hard read, then it's all up to this man right here.
Oh, yeah.
Game MVP, 6 eliminations, 2.4k damage with 2 assists. It's BRU Wasana.
Chat, the world of Free Fire, King Wasana is back. And the man's finally mastered the M590. He is whooping out there. I mean, 6 eliminations, did not second guess himself, and he's not holding back. He's got the Oscar, valiant dashes all around, and the very final live in-person emote. He shushed the whole crowd, and guess what? They listened. Everybody fell dead silent.
Oh boy. If you imagine it and you stare at him long enough, you might see the silhouette of a crown slowly appearing here. And I think that Wasana, he's in the zone. You can see that he's not overhyped and he's not too down. He's at a perfect calm. He's right in between, which is great for these styles of competition.
Oh yeah.
But let's recap the entire game here, because again, E1 unfortunately still meeting head-to-head against Heavy consistently. They have very similar game plans, but unfortunately, they don't have enough aggression to keep them in place.
I mean, this was a battle, right, where Bobs unfortunately takes himself down, and then it makes it very easy for Buriram to kind of prey on them. And towards the very end, just waiting for that right timing. We thought PE Sports had the best timing of them all, but Buriram outplayed them, showing us exactly why experience at a stage like this matters a lot. Because yes, mechanical skills can definitely be improved season after season, but decision making when it is so crucial out there, that only comes with experience.
Hey, it's the limit that people usually hit, right? And now, at least for BRU, I love the fact that everybody, grand final day, clean shaven. They're like, no, don't get the hair in my face. Make sure that there is no distractions as we get into our next game. Map number 3 is going to be coming up real soon.
I do not know what else to expect. It's Alpine time. And guess what, bro? Okay, maybe not at the knockout stage only, because Buriram faltered. They are no longer the kings of Alpine, but we didn't play that many matches in the knockout stage.
Also true.
Alpine belongs to Buriram, but at the knockout stage, they were overtaken by one team. Guess who? Fluxo.
Again, like these two teams have battled out against each other over many, many years.
Yeah.
They have very similar drop zones for a reason, and that's why they are dead even when it comes down to rivals.
And it looks like we kind of know exactly who's going to go towards that final circle, but it is times like these where you're so confident that this map belongs to me. I've already performed. I will be able to get there. Where some things kind of don't go the way they're planned. Just like what RRQ has been facing from the very start of today. 2 maps back to back. It has not gone their way.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, this is the championship rush format, right?
Yeah.
So it's more so that you want to have a high median number of points every single time until you're past 80. That's when you're expected to look for that big booyah. Hopefully things are going to be going well for these teams, generally speaking, but for now, as we are expecting map 4s and map 5 is when teams get closer to that number, we haven't seen the big 30 to kind of set the pace.
Yeah, we haven't seen that just yet. And once again, like what Gideon just mentioned, the aim is to reach 80 points as quickly as possible. The booyahs are not an issue right now. But after the booyah, after the 80 points, you need to really secure those booyahs as quickly as possible, because we have seen in the past teams who have activated the champion rush condition still failing to get it done. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enough of us two boys. We gotta bring the pretty ladies back on here on the stage. So back to Yun Sul, you guys go.
All right, thank you, casters. Woo! What a game! The action, the clutch plays, everything was so intense. Keren banget gak sih?
Yeah, it's been intense. Players showing skill, style, and poor sorcery out there.
Speaking of sorcery, do you know what else is stylish and supernatural?
Oh, I know. Where are we going right now? Are you talking about curses and domains?
That's right, because something epic is coming to Free Fire early next year.
That's right. Free Fire is going to have a crossover collaboration with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes, you heard that right, survivors. Your favorite sorcerers from Jujutsu Kaisen are coming to Free Fire starting January 2026.
That is insane. Imagine we get to be our favorite Jujutsu Kaisen character in the game.
Can you imagine Gojo in Bermuda? That is an instant highlight reel for me.
Get ready to unleash your cursed power, Free Fire style.
All right, without further delay, let's take a look at the announcement video. Here we go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I thought the domain expansion part was just the reference. I wasn't expecting a full announcement and collaboration.
I know, right? And Jujutsu Kaisen of all things, my goodness me. Somebody about to get cursed out there, and I wonder if somebody's already cursed. Again, the question of RRQ. Look at the fans. They were so bright. They were so full of energy earlier. But now they're like, okay, you know what? This was not what we signed up for.
No. Again, they don't want to pour too much gas on this very small fire and smother it. They're waiting for one of their teams to actually get going and give them that extra oomph when the momentum is on their side. And you can see, we are RRQ. We are the kings of kings. And they're going to live up to that brand as soon as they take a booyah.
Okay, all right. I see some smiles there. And of course, Gideon did not lie to you guys, okay? We barely had empty seats earlier. It's just a little short break on the stage as of right now. So some of them have gone out, maybe to grab a couple of drinks, because clearly they were screaming at the top of their lungs earlier.
Yep, their throats are dry for a good reason. And now let's look at the map schedule one more time. In case you were just tuning in, our first two games are out of the way. Fuxo took game number 1, and Buriram United Esports took game number 2. But here in game number 3, do you think that one of these two teams are going to find the back-to-back? Because the curse is still very evident and very real.
Well, somebody about to get hurt real bad, and I think it's not going to be Movistar R7. Because thankfully, this is a map that they're actually very proficient at. When finding the final circle, finding the eliminations on Alpine, Movistar has proven it in the knockout stage that they can get the job done. And I think it's time they wake up in the competition.
I think so far, the early contests have been kind of a 50-50. And yes, it is okay to do it within the first couple of games, but there needs to be some kind of formula to start really racking up these points. Because let's look at EVOS Divine for an example. Yes, they had a couple of early engagements, but at the same time, they are trying to keep up with everybody because they are one of the few teams who has a large amount of eliminations. That's what's keeping them in the middle of the pack.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, this is a situation where you really need to manage how you get into some of these combats. Yes, we've got the active skills and already, but we are also looking at the loot. The current meta, obviously there have been many changes. It's not about the guns anymore. It's not about the skills. It's all about the free fire coins.
Oh yeah.
It's literally the coin meta at the moment. And by the way, we've got the promise, a quote from Wasana. Buriram Wasana has been thinking this phrase since last year. If Buriram wins, he will say, Mom, Dad, I did it. And I kept my promise. Yeah, it's about time, man. I've been waiting, Wasana.
I mean, this is personal quote from him, right? He knows what he's playing for, and he knows the weight on his shoulders, even when the crowd might go against them. Now we look towards AG's side. Again, it's back-to-back games where they win first engagement, but they haven't been able to get into second and third ring as consistently as we used to see them during the knockout stage.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to put a PE Sports, you know, just with one game, launch yourself right back into play, launch yourself right back into a spot where you are one of the top squads gearing up for the activation of Champion Rush. Yes, it is just 80 points, but in this lobby, it is not as easy, which is why it is just beyond mind-blowing. The consistency and the quality out of Buriram and Fluxo.
Yep.
I mean, not only are they getting into the final circle, but back-to-back now in the top 3. That's just pure ridiculousness, man.
Yeah, again, it's tough to see them actually make it this. The way that they made it this far is already great to see, but I'm looking at everybody else because, again, they're probably gnashing their teeth thinking like, man, these two teams keep getting on the top side. We could be that spot, right? Yeah. We have the exact same path. We have the exact same plan. They just got there first. We got pressured. How do we change it?
Yeah, and of course, even as I say that, Buriram is not too far away from activating Champion Rush. They only need 41 points more. How incredibly ridiculous that is, I cannot even begin. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to head on into the green Alpine, where Buriram is no stranger to dominating in Southeast Asia. On the global stage, Fluxo has suddenly become the owner of this map. Will these two teams get into the final circle and do battle once again? Will we have a third party, or will fate turn them down and get them out of the lobby early just to spice things up?
Welcome to the high heights of Alpine here. Let's see our fly. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, boy, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, between Garrison as well as Vantage, not the most skewed and awkward drops we've ever seen before, but it's going to take a little bit of time to get into the spots if you're looking towards the southwest side. Now, Vantage is going to be taken over by Fluxo, and as expected, Snowfall coming in for BRU. But now we look at the very first blood here by 18 Deer against PE.
RRQ off to a fantastic start. PE Sports, just after securing the top 3, it's quite classic, it's quite normal of PE Sports to drop the ball after performing well. But I hope that is not the kind of consistency they show us here today.
Yep. Hoping for a little bit more, right? We need to see those big points. We need to see a shakeup in the current lobby. We need a third bomber from some... Oh, Lao Ho! Again, Abe, 50-50 did. Unfortunately, picked the wrong side.
And Lao, at this point of time, the arena is super cold, but I can tell you this boy is sweating. Nero's not too far away. PE Sports might come back in here for a re-engagement because the revival was brought in instantaneously, and I think they want revenge.
Yeah, and Nero, he's got that top side covered, right? He saw them actually walking up, and now the Cryo Mine just going to be thrown. Okay, interesting. Not sure how that worked, but let's just say it whiffed.
I don't know how they managed to mess that one up, but of course I see the ideation there. RRQ now still pretty much in this warehouse at Railroad, moving together as a unit with just one player sent far away to play recovery, to play a little bit of revive in case this fight goes south. So it's a 4v3. I am not so sure why RRQ put themselves in a spot like this.
Yeah, and RRQ, they have to back up, right? They realize very quickly that there is an advantage in numbers for PE with the number of available angles for them. So they back away and trying to see on both sides whether that they are going to go for the chase. The Cryo Mine coming up from a very awkward angle here. Abe quickly going to blow it to smithereens and top himself up as they are currently leading the lobby of eliminations by 1.
Cryo Mine is just so difficult to counter because how can you find any bit of space in your heart to shoot a plushie, bro? That just is impossible. Next, Valiant Dash breaks down the defense, but ain't God! How in the world is this guy not going down? Pulls out the Winchester, turns it around! Aim God showing him who's boss.
Yep, and now Aim God recognizes that he's in a lot of trouble. He's telling Rush to run for your life. If you can take a shot, do it, but at the sniper, I will buy you as much time as necessary, as Heavy by Ocean View is starting to sniff out how exactly EVOS is deployed, and they hear it. They hear that car running away. They know Aim God's free food.
Yeah, great play coming through from Heavy. FGL straight to the defense, forcing him out of that spot, and then finding the better angles on the right-hand side, flying with 3 players. Cypher broken down on the defense, pulls out a time turner after he valiant dashes away from the players of Fluxo, but baiting into you in a 2v1. FD7 drops from the back, and the backstab does the job.
Oh, can't do much about it. Again, a quick, clean clear here for the side of Fluxo at the very least. Fortunately, they did lose Bops, but they should be able to bring him back no problem. As we look to the opposite side, EVOS against Team Solid at this point. Aim God, who just recently got revived. Wow, beats Hawk with the Akimbo! Putting it down into the dirt as they take control of Forest Red.
And that's how the White Tigers roll, baby. What a phenomenal opportunity, not missed, but taken with such grace. EVOS Divine looking for the top spot, currently sneaking into the 4th placement overall, but still a distance away from Buriram as well as Fluxo. By the way, Fluxo overtaking Buriram on that #1 spot here, but albeit they were not too far away from each other.
It's all about finding those elimination points in the earlier stages. We've seen how bloody these round 1s have been, but honestly, not as bloody as I thought it would be. A lot of the— wait, hold on. Nick, break it through, taking down Kabi, but Mufasa and Don't quite quickly trade back. They've got to cover, making sure that at least Kabi isn't going to get a shot. Nobody in the mix. Okay, E1 haven't been able to recover again.
I can't miss this opportunity on the world stage, man. Mufasa hasn't gotten an elimination just yet, so we'll still have to wait for him. Had a great opportunity there, though. But speaking of opportunity, RRQ has not really seen their opportunities through in the past 2 global stage appearances. At EWC 2025, they were the runner-up. And even last year at FFWS Rio 2024, as Fluxo won their back-to-back title there, it was RRQ as the runner-up. When are they going to secure it? Because as of right now, they don't really look like they're in the best of shape.
Yeah, again, it has been a little awkward for them. They've taken more aggressive routes. However, that mid-game has been a little bit of an issue because they kept on going to the most high-volume areas.
Yeah.
As, unfortunately for Guaxa, they were put in between some awkward members. Most importantly, another elimination point being found by Falcons, who's taking a much slower approach, right? Again, they don't mind these isolated Clash Squad fights happening at the edges of the map. It's something that they're used to, but they want to simulate or replicate what happened in game #1, except they are holding the spot rather than to come outside into the zone.
Yeah, and you know, although Dudes is a phenomenal grenadier, I think they're depending on Dudes a little bit too much as of this point of time. Maal needs to wake up. At the end of the day, he is the predator of RRQ. This guy is unbelievable. As the sniper, picking up the most number of eliminations in the knockout stage for RRQ is just beyond impressive, right? But he has not struck hard today just yet, and he needs to do so before they strike out.
No, speaking of which, striking hard, everybody, they're just holding on to their energy right now. Taking smaller compounds, waiting for that second ring to eventually reveal itself before they make a decision. But the ones who are moving right now has been E1, and they took a lot out of Team Solid before they recovered as they walk into EVOS, not expecting him. Leon at least needs to buy a little bit of time here. They've broken the cryo mine already as Aim God is looking to take space. A1 being thrown down to a Pow 7 side as they both drop down and chase him down into the river. And EVOS come up on top, but they give up their position.
Aim God with the first tag, Rasa with the follow-up, and the Wonder Kid is still at it. But one more survivor from the side of E1. On that revival, obviously, is going to be a tad bit tough. They've got 2 more players out, and they have split apart. And this guy, Leon, is going to be the sacrificial lamb that distracts the players of EVOS long enough so that the rest of those revives can be brought through.
E1 down to its last member. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be a full reset at the end of the day.
Wow.
God has been performing so so well these past couple of maps. Usually you would be expecting people like Rasha or even Ray to be making plays of their own, but Aim God definitely is making a credible name for himself despite already working well during EWC. Now we look at R7 as they make their transition into their next spot here. Already marked. And it looks like, where are they getting shot from? It's from Gao on the northern side, but I feel like somebody else is getting involved here, which is why they're going back straight into this compound, right? Making sure that they hide within the tent for the time being.
Well, since we're taking a breather here, I want to follow up with what you were saying. Aim God basically just living up to his name, right? He has not been off with his aim so far. Coming in second in terms of overall eliminations for his squad from the knockout stage, and led by Rasya. The Wonder Kid struck hard during the knockout stage, and he is continuously popping off here at the grand finals. As long as Rasya and Aim God keep this up, I think the squad's not going to have too much of a problem at all. At this point of time, EVOS on the third spot. Even though RRQ has had a rough start here, EVOS making sure they carry the flag off Indonesia. As E1 makes a full recovery, and we are back to 48 players.
Yeah, but it's a full reset, and it's a very long trip to get back into the ring.
But so this question, right? We didn't see the revive. If that revive was hit on a advanced revival platform, when you get revived, dude, you are way beyond back in the game.
That's
like you haven't left.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because again, they were on. If I remember correctly, they were all the way on the southeastern side to find it, so I'm not sure whether or not they found the advanced platform or not, but there's a good chance that they did. Now, R7, they've been sitting here for quite some time, and GOW's inched their way, getting a little more disrespectful each time, giving some space over for Team Solid to find their own compound here in Garrison, and even RRQ getting involved in the mix.
Well, I did say Movistar R7 up very comfortable on Alpine, but the situation they are in right now does not look comfy at all. In a potential skirmish up against a very hungry Vietnamese squad of GOW, who's currently at the very bottom of the leaderboard in terms of performance, RRQ right in front of them, who are still hungry for points, who are struggling in the competition, and a little bit beyond that, you've got Team Solid waiting to hop on in and take advantage of whatever points they can grab. This is not looking good for the LATAM squad.
Yeah, now that we have this large, wide drone shot, my only concern is I saw Fluxo in the blue on the eastern side. Where are they right now? Are they still tanking it here? Or are they just walking alongside it to find that spot? Because there's only one compound that's available on that eastern side, and AG Global are just walking alongside the blue at this point.
I don't like this at all, Gideon. In fact, let me correct that. I hate what we are seeing right now. You're 10 minutes into the game. You have every single player, every single squad alive and kicking out there on the battlefield. This does not look good. Soon, something is going to befall all of us here at Alpine, and it's called pandemonium. Once those shots begin, you will not know where to lay out your glue wall, because they're going to come from every single corner of the map.
Yeah. Oh, really good position coming in from Du in the high ground, sitting out in the blue, expecting some team to rotate late. And his call was right as he notices the monster truck coming in with Fluxo from that northern side. So they know this is happening. They know and are aware that they can actually move down to the south to find their own spot.
I mean, this is something you guys cannot find online, but the whole stadium, the whole arena was rumbling with that monster truck just moments ago. Now Buriram up against Team Heavy. This is going to be trouble time. Boltmaker pulled out here already, and it looks like it is courtesy of Team Heavy, who are still out in the open. But a smart play from Team Buriram, using the container to protect themselves from that Boltmaker, so no lightning strike can lead to shutting down the players of Buriram just yet. And PE Sports taking advantage, chucking in a couple of shots here as well.
That's gotta be. And now another cryo mine from the back as well. Heavy, they're playing on the outside here, but this is starting to look very dangerous. BRU decide, you know what? We're not gonna get involved, right?
Yeah, man.
Another cryo mine.
Oh, Fluxo! Fluxo! Fluxo from the back! PE Sports in a little bit of trouble. Team Solid trying to flank Team Heavy as well. We have got pandemonium starting off here already, and the teams are taking a step back. They want to slow the pace down, but fate will have it in a way where you cannot run away from this chaos.
And PE, they switch tent, right? Here on the south side, we see that EVOS is just trying to recover as much as they can. They've taken a lot of pressure at this point of time, and and managed to bring in Kochio back up. Oh, what a shot from Russia! And it's a Fit 9! Back-to-back shots, but the Riptide Rhythm has blown away their cover. Both of them getting attacked here by R7 and AG Global.
AG Global gatekeeping EVOS, making sure they don't step into the circle, and shots from the back as well as E1 finds them, but everybody else aiming down at E1 at the same time as well. EVOS, the recovery is phenomenal. Aim God, the spray downs coming on through. Widget wants a little bit of revenge. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defenses, and a Riptide Rhythm from the back as well. And E1 gets their revenge and takes EVOS out of the lobby.
There's just so much influence from everybody else, and Falcons have been waiting in the wake this entire time as AG, they have the information of what's going on the northern side, but on the south side, Falcons want to take this spot away from R7. They have a little bit of influence towards the west and the eastern sides, but not enough to change the game. And now, back-to-back fights, Heavy fighting against BRU, and BRU putting them down in the dirt with the help of Fluxo in the back. Get high, gets knocked down. Jonah as well as the blue starts to close on in. They need to recover here, and they need to recover fast, but the maze of blue walls is starting to become a bit of a hindrance.
Yeah, I'm just showing Heavy what happens when you try to aim at them, what happens when you bring the Bolt Maker down, when you bring those lightning strikes down. The one who gets struck down is not us, but you, says Buriram, as they flip the script and take Heavy out of the equation. And the position that they hold in the circle is not a comfortable one just yet. Towards their right, maybe there's a little bit of space, and Moshi trying to clear up more space for him as he shuts Nyx down.
Oh, Carbine coming out towards BRU side as BE Sports have committed a lot here, but they can't seem to find the eliminations just yet. As Moshi is knocked, you can see that at least for Lao Ho, he will take as many pot shots as necessary to make this happen. Reinforced glue walls already being deployed as BRU are looking for a better position. Fluxo has taken their time. The next ring has been shown, and BRU, Moshi is still low. He has not been able to recover. They have to hold on. A1 is out, and now they're going all hell breaks loose as they do the Bolt Maker, and straight away, Nero getting gunned down by Fluxo, who's been watching them the whole time.
What a superb play by Buriram, running into a tiny compound, barricading two windows, leaving one open so that they can bait in the players of PE Sports. But that plan instantaneously failed because Fluxo showed up on that high ground, taking aim at PE Sports, forcing them to back away. Therefore, Buriram does not get to eat just yet.
They don't want to eat, and they actually recovered very, very nicely from that. R7 now in an awkward spot and an all-in against Gao, and that's going to be Falcons getting blasted out first as AG and RRQ were looking down by their sights. Now they're holding strong. However, on the southern side, with R7 Joker, the last remaining members standing with a full squad of Gao, gaining, two Cryo Mines actually coming down from the western side, and now the Riptide Rhythm. Joker out of position and can't really do too much, and finally gets beamed down by Dian. R7 down in 8th.
Fluxo and Buriram still alive and kicking. Will they do this back to back to back to get into that final circle and do battle? PE Sports still a part of this equation as well. A brilliant mind to pop that Steffi, but RRQ in the back, clearing house. Yes, you may be the champions of Clash Squad, but here in Battle Royale, you want nothing as they sweep AG Global out of the lobby.
Good use of the launchers, but at this point, RRQ out of position, caught out in the open. Dudes need to apply some pressure here as Fluxo, they've got the angles covered. They know that PE and as well as BRU have been at each other's throats. But now with at least the Riptide Rhythm, they're forcing them out of position, out into the blue. Dudes taking a lot of damage, has to inhale while you see that Gao, while this is happening, Gao is rotating towards Team Solid side to try and make some space of their own. They know that the ring is going to be moving towards the northwestern side, so they have to be ready for the rotation.
6 teams left, 2 from the west, 4 from the east.
Oh my god.
And RRQ and Buriram about to dance, about to do the tango out in the open, but RRQ changed their mind. The Master Grenadier dudes finds the double tag and will find the clearance as well, and the distraction allows Buriram to survive a little bit longer.
Elimination secured, and what a rotation from Fluxo. They've got an amazing angle. Team Solid is trying to keep Gao in place, and Buriram United has to come in from the back to sweep them under the rug. PE bow out, and now Buriram taking full damage from Fluxo's side, at least from the Gao's perspective. They don't mind. They've already influenced CS to move out of position, but now it's their time to shine, their time to start making a move.
Get high picked up, drop right back down because of the zone. And he has to be sacrificed. But a great recovery here as Wasana picks Moshi up. Riptide Rhythm down by Fluxo. Breaking down the defenses of Buriram. No other glue walls can be brought back up because of those glue wall melters. And that is just trouble time. But Buriram choosing to take the fight straight up against Fluxo, who barricades Buriram away.
Oh no, Cryomine coming out as well. This is super frustrating. They cut him down straight away, but the A1 also coming in from Gao has stopped Fluxo's aggression, and now they're focusing on position. They reposition, they've already neutered BRU. They have to worry about some of the other squads in this lobby. 4 still remaining.
How will this final circle break down?
Oh, what the?
Buriram still wants a piece of them as Team Solid takes those shots up against GOW. GOW looking for the flank around towards Buriram in a 4v2. The Thai Giants are about to get crushed here by Vietnam if they are not careful. Jonah clipped by Demon, not before finding MT7, and that puts the chances of Fluxo walking away with a booyah a little bit on the lower scale as well, all thanks to Captain Jonah.
And now the tango begins. Bringing around the Rosie, Cryomine being thrown out towards TSO. Hopefully probe a reaction from Fluxo, but Fluxo do not bite just yet.
What a position though, on top of the container, the highest ground possible as of now. The circle's going to be shrinking in a little bit, and Team Solid out in the open. Sprayed down by Fluxo. Butch is in with those headshots, not going to miss in a situation like this. AC80 for the win, and again, we are now final circle, East versus West side.
Beautiful play coming in from Gao. Reinforced glue walls as well. The A1 connects to Butch, opens a hole. Damon goes down first. The top side with the end trying to take out Butch in the back. He doesn't get enough shots and still playing VP, but it's too late. He's been beamed down. Now Bobs needs to land enough shots, and he does with the help of GU. That's Fluxo with another booyah.
3 games back to back to back. And this could just be a little bit of a preview for the World Series as well. Perhaps they can be back to back to back champions, getting into the final circle with such consistency, with such brilliance. Is unthinkable at a stage, at a level like this.
Oh, what
the Brazilians just don't know when to give up.
Dude, Fluxo, I mean, hopefully we catch that one rotation where they go out into blue while MT7 takes a high ground position. They covered both.
Record breaking gameplay দিতেছে।
বন্ধুরা, তোমরা কি জানো? শুধুমাত্র এখানেই তোমরা একটি স্পষ্ট প্রতিশ্রুতি সহ একটি আসল প্ল্যাটফর্ম পাবে। খেলার আগে তোমরা প্রথমে টাকা তুলতে পারো। কোনো কৌশল নেই, কোনো ফাঁদ নেই।
একটি নিষ্পাপ হাফিজ কোরআনের মেয়েকে এক গাধার সাথে বিয়ে করে দেওয়া হলো, কিন্তু কেউ জানল না ওই
They went in for the slice, and then after that, GOW obviously taking advantage. But Fluxo though, not missing when it truly counts. And just like how they took away the trophy from Buriram, they have taken away dominance of Alpine from Buriram.
Oh my goodness, GU, what a flank that was. And again, instantly back to reviewing like what exactly happened in the middle of those fights. Because again, you can see that Bobson as well. MT7 is like, I'm out of this. Siren got blasted in the and got on his knees.
It's ridiculous, man, because you know the teams that performed well on this map throughout the whole knockout stage were the exact same teams except Movistar R7 to get into that final circle. I'm talking about teams like Team Solid. I'm talking about GOW, who have also secured a booyah here on Alpine. The consistency, unbelievable, and I'm actually gonna rest easy a little bit knowing that the data actually is very much still intelligible. Because usually for grand finals like this, you take the sheets, you take the data, you take the numbers, and you throw it out of the window.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were expecting things to get a little bit more chaotic, but as we see, the teams can kind of realize, hey, it's not the time to put a this is real.
My God, it's sure as hell is real, and that stage is real. Those transparent LEDs are real. So you see those that have the banners of these teams? Those are transparent LEDs. Gideon just pointed that out to me earlier on. You see stuff on the LED, and at times it just kind of blanks out, and you get to see the spotlights behind the LEDs. We've got state-of-the-art stuff on this stage, and I have to say, it is the most impressive stage I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, look at this. Look at the angles. It's so cinematic. So, right at the very end. Okay, let's look at the standings here because that is a whopping game coming up of Fluxo. And I say whopping, yes, not because it didn't hit 30, but look at the rest of the lobby, right?
Yeah.
Now is the only one coming close, and they still didn't break it to the big 2-0.
Not yet, but dude, one more game. One more game should be enough for Fluxo to activate Champion Rush condition. And just like how they secured a Booyah here, that's all they need to do. But will the map favor Fluxo later on? We'll have to wait and see. But GOW, just like PE Sports, have used this match as a stepping stone to jump back into battle. But how far in, we'll have to wait and see on that overall leaderboard. Buriram United Esports picking up a total of 14. Down at the bottom, PE Sports and Heavy not doing too well. Movistar R7 crashing out on a map that could have put them back in contention.
I think the saddest part is that despite Team Scarlet actually getting a decent amount of placement points, we're only able to find one elimination, right? When you're in that encampment, it becomes ridiculous. It forces you to go out of your way for the all-in. And now we see the current standing, 63 points for Fluxo as they lead the charge. Buriram United, not as hot, but they are 10 points away. And then it's Team Falcons. We are seeing the disparity and the gap grow larger and larger.
Bro. Look at the map. Look at the logos. Both Fluxo and Buriram, two-time world champs each. Could that also be a preview of what we're about to see in terms of the Booyahs here? Both of them having 2 Booyahs each at the start of our grand finals day. I tell you, this is absolute cinema. You cannot write a script as good as this. The tournament does not get better than this. Esports for Free Fire does not get better than this.
I'm looking at the middle of the pack. Everybody within the 30-point range, from 3rd all the way down to 6th, right? These people need a hot game, a 30 bomber, if they want to even contest the top 2 right now as they continue to move on further and further away from the rest. Now, Purgatory is the upcoming map, and when we look at these stats, I'm thinking, all right, this A124 is so influential, right? Yeah. And from Fluxo's position, they're not influencing people with, hey, you can't use your abilities. They use it a little bit more selfishly. The Cryo Mine, strangely enough, from everybody else, are being lobbed at each other like it's like a game of table tennis.
Yeah, it's all about the timing, and Bobs knows his timing perfectly executed on the battlefield time and time again. We've seen him pull it off with that A124. It's the team that doesn't want to lean towards the way of the new meta, towards the new active skills. But you know what? They were the ones that proved that Skylar was still effective out of meta. Nobody used Skylar. They were still bringing him in, and that's how they became world champs. So I'm not going to doubt the setup here by the Brazilian squad at all. But look at the numbers though, bro. Everybody throwing in a little bit of effort here.
See, this is why they actually like leaning into the Skylar a little bit more. They can abuse those windows because of their mechanical skill.
Yeah.
When they find those windows open, everybody is ready to take those shots all at once, which is why you see that Butson as well as MT7 work really well together when they start working around the maps. GU as the support towards Butson in the ways that they lead the charge together, and Bobs just needs to make sure that the flanks are covered when the initiation occurs.
No doubt at all. And Butch is in 8 knockdowns in total, 3,683 on the damage. He is your MVP with 4 eliminations, but the impact that he brought into the game, unbelievable. Rocking the Oscar, bursting through all of those glue walls out there. He puts himself in harm's way many of times, but today, just keeping distance between himself as well as the rest of the teams, making that AC-80 work, only bringing out that Valiant Dash when he is put in a desperate situation.
And I mean, we've seen many times where Butson is actually leading the charge into crushing after the follow-up with the A1, right? And I think so far, he's been crushing it every single time. Yes, funny enough, every time they get the Booyah, where's Butson? He's like, I'm sorry, I'm on my knees, dude. You clean it up for me. I've already opened up the map for you. Do your work. But now we come back to just a quick review. How exactly did they get in this initial position, right? Because AG, they took quite a beating by Vantage Point, and then this ring around the Rosie. It's so awkward because every single time you move from point to point, there is some clear pieces of natural cover or compounds that you could work with to protect yourself.
And every single time a team wanted to get aggressive and went in there for the hunt, they just got wiped. Not by the team they were hunting. They were successful with the hunt, just like how RRQ went for PE. They were successful with the wipeout, and then Buriram showed up out of nowhere. And Buriram were very lucky that RRQ chose to, pound on the team of PE instead of taking the fight up against them, because that would have been a tad bit unfortunate. No doubt at all, dudes would have just unleashed a flurry of grenades to take them out.
I think between everybody, it was Fluxo, PE, alongside with Gao and BRU, who told each other, hey, y'all better play honest in this game of musical chairs, okay? Be as honest as you can, because we saw what happened when Team Solid wanted to go out of their way.
Yep.
Instantly locked out. Even Gao, they didn't know the rules yet, but when they learned, they pulled back straight away.
And that's exactly what you need to do out there on a battlefield like this. You gotta stay aware, and you gotta stay on your tippy toes to make that decision at that split second, whether to go all in or to back away. And I have to say, we can't hold it against the squads in this Alpine map. You know, we called it out. Pandemonium was about to strike, and that's exactly what we got. And it was the kind of beautiful cinema that we need here at the Global Finals Grand Final.
Of course, it brings the energy up. It keeps especially the hometown favorites and all their fans real excited about the game. Obviously, It's not as hot as when you go into a pub and jump into Brasilia, but at the very least, there's plenty, just enough spaces for teams to actually hide into. Again, I'm really curious about the total number of damage that we actually saw from all Cryomine users, all the Narrow users, because that's basically what we saw influence the rest of the motions from the map, alongside with the A1, of course. But at the same time, I think we really need to start thinking about, hey, as much as we like using Cryomine not only to scout and a means to actually stop our opponents, when are we going to start putting our bodies online? When are we going to start actually holding these angles rather than faking them?
And of course, RRQ, this was that game where they wanted to make their big comeback, right? So it's a tad bit unfortunate they got wiped out. They couldn't secure the Booyah for themselves, but we see signs of life. Prior to this, it was only on EVOS, but RRQ is finally setting themselves up to get a little bit closer to the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunate that they faltered early, but this is a really good sign for the home crowd here, because now both the Indonesian squads are ready for battle.
Yep, and with what we've seen here today, the only difference maker between Booyah winners and everybody else as losers is a creative rotation.
Yes.
That's how we saw MT7 find a good spot. That's how we saw Fluxo actually go out into the blue at the very end when it hurts the most to make it happen.
I mean, and that's the kind of situation you're going to be thrown into here at the Global Finals. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are about to bring Miss Conchita as well as Yunsol back on that stage. But after this, you're going to have Husky and Neptune. We're going to sign off for a little bit.
It's Yunsol. Everything is so amazing here, right, in Indonesia Arena, and I love it so much. We just finished our third game, and right next to me is Fluxo Bujizin. Hello, Carol, our translator today. Alright, let's jump into our first questions. How does it feel playing in front of the Indonesian fans here at the Indonesia Arena and not in Brazil anymore, where most of the crowd doesn't cheer for you guys?
Jogando aqui em Jakarta, na Indonésia, com um monte de gente assistindo vocês aqui, especialmente que não são brasileiros, são totalmente fãs da como é que você se sente? Maior expansão da Indonésia.
Ah, me sinto bem, eu achei, quando eu entrei ali, tava bonita a festa, então, tipo, eu gosto muito desse calor da torcida, e eles estão muito respeitosos, gostei muito e tá muito bonito.
So far for me, it's really good. I have enjoyed the whole crowd. They are very respectful. So I feel like this energy, the atmosphere is everything. So that's the competitive scenario, and I respect that. And I'm enjoying to play here in Jakarta, Indonesia.
I love that. Seems like you guys are playing Brazil, but still heading in the first place in the scoreboard, so it's really good. All right, into our next questions. Also, last year, you were the one who got the golden bullet, the last shot that sealed the title, which is the World Champions title. All right, how confident are you about winning the title for the third year?
Bom, você foi o jogador, né, que garantiu o título pro Fluxo ano passado, né? Foi o último a fazer a última eliminação. Como é que vocês veem agora para esse ano, talvez para garantir mais um título na história do Fluxo e também o seu individual, o terceiro da história?
Mano, viemos muito confiante. Acho que esse dia aqui é o dia que a gente sonha o ano todo. A gente começa o ano já pensando nesse dia. Então a gente não quer falhar. A gente vai dar tudo de nós mesmos, vamos se dedicar muito. E se Deus quiser vai dar certo.
I came very prepared for this moment right now. We have been working the whole day to come here on the stage, come here to the grand finals. So we are definitely very excited to be here, and we will give for all of us to be here today and win one more title.
Good spirit. Okay, good luck. All right, last questions. Any words you want to say to the Indonesia fans, but also to everyone in Brazil right now?
Você gostaria de compartilhar alguma coisa com todos os fãs da Indonésia que estão aqui, especialmente os fãs brasileiros?
Eu queria agradecer a todo mundo que compareceu, tá muito bonito. Eu não imaginei que seria tão legal assim, tantas pessoas, tanto barulho, bandeiras bonitas, tudo muito bonito. E é isso, muito obrigado e estamos dando um show pra vocês aí.
I just want to say thank you to all the Indonesian fans. This is very beautiful. The flags are beautiful. The party are beautiful. All the cheering, all the fans, they are here. It's very amazing. I respect a lot of that. I could imagine how beautiful this could be, but right now I'm enjoying a lot to have this big crowd here and makes us even more excited to keep playing.
I'm really happy that Pujisin is enjoying himself the best right now. Thanks a lot, Pujisin, and good luck to you in the next game. Oh, hey, Conchita, can you translate everything we just said to everyone right here now?
Yeah, of course, Ilso, no problem at all. Jadi tadi kita udah selesai menginterview salah satu pemain dari Brazil, tepatnya dari Fluxo, ada Buchuzen yang katanya udah melakukan banyak banget persiapan nih untuk kedatangannya ke Jakarta. Dan meskipun mereka bukanlah salah satu pemain dari tim tuan rumah, tetap merasa kedatangannya di Jakarta itu disambut dengan baik. Mereka semangat banget untuk bisa tampil maksimal di pertandingan-pertandingan yang tersisa hari ini. Karena memang kalau kita lihat tadi luar biasa juga ya performa dari Fluxo. Mudah-mudahan ada kesempatan nih buat tim-tim Indonesia bisa mengejar dan bisa memiliki konsistensi yang sama seperti apa yang ditunjukkan Fluxo di 3 game tadi. Nah sekarang kita mau ngobrol-ngobrol gantian. Kita akan ngobrol sama pemain dari tim Indonesia RRQ Kazoo. Hello dudes, hello Maal.
Hello.
Hi, so we're here with the stars of RRQ Kazoo. We have Dudes and of course we have Mal. And okay, let's just jump into my very first question. So we all heard that Buchuzen felt very welcome. They are playing so well at the grand final today. But they are surely feeling the pressure a little by the amazing supporter that Indonesia has. Is there anything you'd like to say to welcome Buchuzen to Jakarta? Apa yang mau kamu sampaikan untuk menyambut Buchuzen ke Jakarta? Karena tetap ya namanya tim tamu datang terus tampil di hadapan pendukungnya Indonesia yang luar biasa banget. Supporter kita ada rasa deg-degannya. Apa yang mau disampaikan? Sweet nih, ganti-gantian nih. Dudes dulu deh, as captain, I think you should go first. Anything you'd like to say to Buchuzen to, I don't know, give any kind of response or just to welcome him to Jakarta?
Ya, good luck lah. Game masih panjang, jangan terlalu hype lah mereka. Masih panjang.
Ooh, that is pretty spicy. So basically what Dude said is welcome to Jakarta. Don't get too cocky because the night is still young. We still have plenty of more chances. So yeah, just wait and see. We're gonna come and get ya. Okay, next question. I think Miles should take this one, okay? It's your turn. Back to the game. With Purgatory coming up next, how confident are you heading into that map and playing in front of your own supporters? Masuk ke game berikutnya, kita akan masuk ke map Purgatory. Kalau RRQ tuh sepede apa sih main di Purgatory? Apalagi kalian mainnya juga di hadapan pendukung sendiri. Kingdom kan udah keren banget. Coba Kingdom, mana suaranya? Tuh, sepede apa untuk masuk ke map selanjutnya?
Pede banget sih, soalnya kan match sebelum-sebelumnya kita kurang. Nah, di Purgatory ini kita buktiin sih kita bakal boyak.
Bakal jadi Raja Purgatory?
Benar.
Okay, so he said that he admits RRQ hasn't been really great the previous games, but they're trying to fix it. Going into Purgatory, they're feeling pretty confident and they sure they can be the king of Purgatory. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, okay? Last question, and this question is for the both of you. Buat kalian berdua, anything you'd like to say to the fans who have traveled all around all over Indonesia to come and watch you compete live at the Indonesia Arena. Ada yang mau disampaikan nggak kepada para fans yang udah datang jauh-jauh dari seluruh belahan Indonesia untuk bisa hadir di Indonesia Arena dan mendukung RRQ Kazu?
Buat fans-fans RRQ Kazu, tetap dukung, game masih panjang, kita akan ambil piala itu.
Please keep on supporting us. The night is still young and we're gonna go lift that trophy. Thank you so much, dudes. Thank you, Mal. Actually, one more question. Can you tell me the story behind your hair clips today? Bisa diceritain nggak cerita di balik jepitan-jepitan rambut kamu?
Emang kemauan pacar saya.
So his girlfriend actually requested the hair clips that you see on Mal's head right now. Okay, once again, thank you so much, RRQ. Good luck with the rest of the game. And now I think I'm gonna go back to Yunsul and have a bit of a chit chat because we have an interesting information we'd like to share to you, survivors. Ooh, that interview was spicy, huh?
Yeah, of course. Which why we need to cool everyone down.
Oh, drastically, please.
Immediately.
I think we need something freezing, right?
Survivors, time for a chilly surprise. Free Fire's brand new Winterlands event for 2025.
Yes, it's fresh, it's frosty, and it's about to take you completely new. This time it comes with a new name, Winterland's Dream Space.
Frosty, it is about to take you somewhere completely new.
No more teasing, let's roll the video.
Oh, do you want to be big, little guy? Just fulfilled his dream.
What are you doing to Yeti?
Would you like to see how it is to be legendary?
Welcome back to the Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025. Live here at the Indonesian Arena, Jakarta is Battle Royale Finals, and so far the Brazilians have been leading the pack. We're going to be taking over from AJ and Gideon for just the next few rounds. My name is Husky, and with me is good old Neptune. We have made it to the top of the world, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be Purgatory coming up.
Exactly what you said. Fluxo and Brazil is bringing the heat on in this game. It's very close to be able to achieve that champion rush condition, and Purgatory might be that map or they'll be able to reach it.
And there is a possibility that within the next 3 rounds, Fluxo can lift that trophy and give Brazil that 3-peat, 3 years in a row as a region to cement themselves as the greatest of all time. And this is a scary thought because in front of the home crowd of the Kingdoms of the White Tiger, Fluxo is the one that has withstood the test of time round after round.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, despite of the loss from yesterday's Clash Squad, it seems like they're not phased. They are here for blood. They are here for that 3-peat. And it has been shown already from the beginning of the day, even when they were taken out, not grabbing that Booyah in the game number 2, they know the plan. They just move as if they are very stealthy, and we were looking at it whilst waiting for an opportunity as well to tell the story. But I really love this version of Fluxo. It seems like they've learned so much from Southeast Asia. Knowing that they are also in Southeast Asia, they can bring the same, mirror the same approach that they have received from the past.
This is 100. If this is an exam, they've just got perfect marks for it, right? They have done so much homework on what the other regions have been doing, and Fluxo continues to make sure that every single move that they make has a big payoff. We were watching that game tree, that Alpine rotation was on point, and we also theory craft. What are they going to do coming into map number 4 in Purgatory? And we have settled on 2 possible conclusions, Crossroads and Moathouse.
Yeah, let's see though if that would be the rotation, because at some point they need to get away from their usual south movement, south to east, south to west movement, and they might outsmart the other teams if they go in for those north area drop spot. It is free based on information that we've gathered so far on the teams being eliminated already out of Grand Finals, and this is one way that they can outsmart the other teams, play it even safer, and then just achieve what is needed.
And I think what makes it even more impressive is that the past 3 maps that Fluxo have dominated aren't their strongest maps. They dominated on Buriram's home turf.
Yeah.
Sort of dominated. They get a Booyah, not a problem, right? I mean, they get a Booyah on Alpine, sorry. It's Nextera. They didn't, but they still finished top 3. They also dominated Bermuda, which in of itself, they are up there in the ranking, but not kind of not projected to win the round.
Yeah.
Purgatory could be that breaking point.
Well, let's see though. I mean, they need to make adjustment because based on what we've seen in knockout stage, Fluxo in Purgatory, somewhat mid, but we've seen a lot of those from mid that really made an upset in this grand final. So if they just play go and achieve all those points, like not too much of aggression, making sure that they will be able to get decent amount of elimination on the late game as they play safe.
And that's what they have been doing, right? The round 1, they came out swinging hard. They were getting the double-digit eliminations. But map 2 and 3, they slow down a little bit, but still maintaining that composure, right? They end the game, and we realize that they are breaking into the 20s, and now they're sitting at the precipice of unlocking Champion Rush condition. Purgatory is where you can kind of take a breather if you're Fluxo, right? You could play slow, Booyah is not a necessity, and you can still have a chance to win by map 5 on Solara.
Well, unless they are scouted, like really targeted by a lot of teams. Because at some point, based on their understanding of how Fluxo has been working so far in the past 3 games, it might be that some other teams, aggressive, especially for those in the lower part, would want to get a lot of elimination. And from the passiveness of half of the teams that we have in grand finals, the best way to get there is just go along the edges of the zone, and that's where Fluxo often are. So if they were caught off guard, hopefully they're prepared, ready, resources ready, even in the beginning or early parts of that map.
I think the second layer to that is also which team is willing to roll the dice.
Oh,
because the night is still pretty young here in Jakarta. We have a potential 7 more rounds to go. So if anything, you don't really want to roll the dice right now unless things get incredibly desperate. But let's see if that is gonna rear its ugly head for some of these bottom feeders as we get ready to jump into map number 4 is Purgatory, and Fluxo are so close.
Yep, neither heaven nor hell can save the teams who would be slowing down, and it seems like the teams are ready. The flight could be fair, or it could be rough, and that might force those who are in contention for the Champion Rush condition to go down early. But it seems like we might be able to find out where the teams will be dropping in, as well as if there will be those hot drops in Purgatory in a bit.
Let's see if our theory is true.
Yep.
Fluxo has gone for the drop. I think they will still stick with Mount Villa and Golf Course, which is something that was originally their drop spot, right? We saw it being, at least on the projected scale, very populated on that western side of the map. GOW is going to join them there. Falcons taking Lumber Mill with RRQ at 5 Brigade, Central for Heavy. Things are going exactly to what the default plan is.
Yeah, and one thing that would be a threat for Fluxo to be able to get the Champion Rush condition are teams surrounding them. But let's head over to Falcons right now, going against RRQ. Surrounding them, from what we've seen earlier in drop, it is Heavy who's very close. So we'll need to be cautious. Just going in against compounds, and Falcons have reached already, but Falcons has backup plan from far away. Korono being hit, Riptide Rhythm, and 18 Deer for the rush, but unfortunately shot by Pina, G36, and he won't be able to fly.
And just the 1v1s from Team Falcons are a lot more precise in this initial skirmish. And RRQ's aggression completely smothered. Dude trapped in a 2v1, wins against Korono, but doesn't have time to answer Pina. So it's Falcons kicking off the round with 3 points.
3 eliminations already and 1 to go, if in case they'll be able to chase down the final player from RRQ. But RRQ, we know the firepower as well as the fighting spirit that they have. It has happened from the early parts of this day, and seems like they can do it once again. Evos, though, going against PE Sports, and surprisingly on how PE Sports has managed to get a lot of points for today. I guess they're really motivated, but what can the motivation do if you have to deal with an entire squad?
And that for LBT, the answer is to get the heck out of that area. Shots on Evos, unfortunately, aren't connecting yet, so LBT might be able to make that great escape. We'll lose that Vico along the way. The rest of PE Sports doesn't seem that they are in a position to provide any backup. This is the necessary sacrifice for PE Sports to continue securing Crossroads, which is the initial projected drop spot for Fluxo. If they deviate away from Mount Villa, they will be safe, but Pina is trapped in the thunderstorm with Heavy on his tail.
Yeah, after the engagement that they had to deal with earlier, here comes Heavy, and the lightning is on. Kabi for a takedown with Woodpecker, and Heavy gets to already. Falcons, though, some players managed to pull away and limit, and On Fire is safe. For Abe, he will be taken down, but I think RRQ managed to bring one back for play, and they will still be in this game.
RRQ, Batter and Brew, same as Falcons, but Falcons just got that full revive as Aim God takes care of LBT, who was on the run for quite a while, scattering PE Sports into the wind. And it's also worth noting that on Purgatory, Marbleworks is the stronghold for BRU, but usually their rotations are uninterrupted. Now we are introducing GOW and Fluxo into the equation. It could end ugly, like how we did for RRQ Kazu, who just got wiped out.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ Glasso being eliminated, and we just witnessed as well one player from PE Sports being taken down. Now, AG in a possible hunt at this point, and who will they be targeting? Team Solid is very near from where they are right now, and hopefully the plan will be just to get to the edge of the safe zone, make sure that they have high ground, good information being taken by Du, and then stop right there. There's no need for AG to aggress because there's a lot of threat in the surrounding.
Yeah, we did see some parallels between AG Global and Fluxo, and it's something that has been brought forward from 2023. I think it started there where they make some very parallel rotations, and back in the days it was AG Global that was catching Fluxo off guard, but right now we see that adjustment. AG Global willing to take these fights, and Team Solid will put them to the test, but the attention now lies on Falcons and Heavy, as Falcons just could not hold a candle as Kororo gets sliced to ribbons. Don't Cry does go down, but his teammates should be able to retrieve him.
That's remaining for Falcons, but a quick revive, and they're back from the ashes. Pina right now, a little bit shot coming from Allen. VSS or VSK would deal a little bit of damage, but not so much. And let's see if that SMG of VSS can be so deadly, similar to what we've seen in Clash Squad, but On Fire guarding the gates, making sure that Pina will be safe and the rest of the team. But unfortunately, that M1887 would not be stopped, and Falcons will still be in trouble.
Good follow-up from Allen to ensure that that exchange is completed. Pina will be able to get Don't Cry down, and now tries to run away from Mufasa. Duo put up just for safety purposes, so Pina gets a bit of breathing room. His teammate able to join him with just a little bit. Kororo back in action. Pina pulls himself back. Team Solid eliminated off screen in the back of AG Global's aggression, and Pina loses that fight against Mufasa, who has the better weaponry, so Heavy is still having the advantage.
And Max 7 to a quick takeaway, and unfortunately that nade didn't go through those glue walls. It could have been a little bit early, and they can deal with the remaining players of Team Falcons. Guerrero right now hit by Allen's nade as well as glue wall melter, but Mufasa being taken down. Charge buster from Falcons. Now Allen might be in trouble. On Fire right now on his left, and Kiroro on his right, and there goes the time turner, not turning back the time to help him recover.
These two teams are literally farming points from each other. The revives, the backup, it feels like an endless zombie horde. And it was Falcons who sort of outlasted the odds at the very end, despite Heavy's efforts in keeping themselves in the running. And now Don't Cry realizes that he's been isolated, gets Kiroro, but Pina with the Bison will make sure that the streak ends there. Falcons with 9 eliminations.
9 elimination and 2 left for Heavy to be dealt with. Kabi shows up. Pina doesn't have the weapon, only a Bison that can be used from long range, but here comes the shots from behind. On Fire, and they are running through against Kabi. Not so much that can be done, and Kabi right now will receive a little bit of damage from that blue as well, and this might be it. Despite of how well they protected themselves from that area, Falcons would get another point, making 10.
Kabi is the one who pulls the trigger first. Tries to go for the jump peek, and On Fire will make sure that Kabi also gets put to rest. The quad piece for On Fire, and 10 points for Falcons based off of takedowns.
Well, let's see though, switching to a different team in the high ground, R7 as well as E1 Sports. Great decision to take right now, especially for Joker. But let's see if they will have, they will go for this engagement, because yes, they will have 10 seconds remaining before the next phase shrinks. But it seems like some teams will be rushing in against them. The AG, for a fact, is also on the edge, might meet E1, and that's where R7 might take advantage.
While we have some time, it's also worth pointing out that BRU and Fluxo completely dodged each other. Despite sharing the same piece of land on that western side, they just avoided each other. Fluxo ended up going to Central now. It might run into Falcons, whereas BRU finally gets to pull off their usual rotation from Marbleworks to Crossroad, and that guarantees a fighting chance for BRU and Fluxo alike.
Yeah, for Fluxo's side, I mean, if you are just aiming to get the enough points that you need to achieve that champion rush condition, you will need to get away from Marbleworks, and that's what they did. And the same thing for Brave United, because second place, they're very close as well, 10 points behind Fluxo before we started this game. So, smart move coming from both of these teams. Now, they'll be able to take this for they first, but side Falcons, that might be the next contender, next challenger that they need to deal with.
Is anything we know about Fluxo, the longer you let them do what they want, the later the game goes without Fluxo having to interact much with heavy combat. They are gonna transform into a mobile arsenal. They're gonna have everything when that late game comes. And we even talked about this in the break room, where I personally am convinced that Fluxo's main goal every single round is to hunt for that launcher, so that Bobs can be ready to blow things up.
Yeah, and most of the time, like, because of their patience, they are in a situation wherein they can see a couple of teams going against each other, and those launchers, that M79, would be very deadly, taking a lot of elimination, despite of them being late in the party and grabbing all those.
Circle does move over to the northern side, which does play into what Fluxo likes, right? South to north, that's sort of the usual rotation path. BRU close to the edge, but there's no one that BRU can gatekeep, so for them it's a journey in. Fluxo, just like what we saw in Alpine, have completely dodged and skipped that early to mid phase.
Oh, well, let's see though. It's a slow travel, especially with the monster truck, which is a little bit heavy at this point. Not talking about the team though, but let's see, as a 10-minute mark has been achieved already, and a lot of contention, a lot of battle is happening, and also damage being received by Team Falcons. But as you can see it, Kiroro would be put in a hit list, and it is once again Team Heavy. I mean, the rivalry from the beginning up until this moment of this game is still so hot between these two teams, and Fluxo might just be able to take advantage of it, get elimination once they meet each other.
That could not have been a better timing for Fluxo. Caught a glimpse of Falcon's vehicles, who were also distracted by that hit list by Heavy, and Fluxo immediately makes a pit stop. Again, avoiding any conflict and putting themselves in a spot where they are the ones that have the chance to take advantage of teams who are preoccupied with combat.
Well, as we look into overhead of this situation, whoever is the agent for Purgatory right now might be rolling in dough, because it seems like everything is occupied. Almost everything is occupied. But as we see, PE Sports are still looking around as to for a place to stay. There goes the Cryo Mine onto E1. But as we switch over to AG, who might be seeing Team Falcons, there goes the hit, but no takedown. But On Fire would be taken out, and Ju would be the guy, the MVP from Clash Squad, still continues his reign.
As they extinguished On Fire's flame, Falcons are left in tatters. Reptile and Alpina will have to relocate. Limit also tries to reposition. This could be a three-pronged attack, but AG Global knows better than to fall for that bag of tricks. They will now turn on to Kiroro first. It's Sypha to take the challenge, and Sypha wins and gives him the machete through the neck. Pina and Limit left to pick up the pieces. A lick shot from Dew will do the job on the Pina, and Limit has nothing left.
Hell, Limit right now going solo. Not so much of room to move
or breathe. It's a good thing that managed to get away from Fluxo as well, and what he has to do right now is just sustain himself, but into the view, into the spot where AG can just gatekeep, wait, and have that patience because they are very near to the next phase of the circle. Limit would either pull out a launch pad and go fly past them, or just make sure that he has enough men to sustain this.
Fluxo just came in. This is going to be the first ever full-on fight. And it's going to be with Heavy. They needed to make that rotation. There is a scan. I believe that one was from AG Global. So 5 enemy ops pinged out. There's another team fighting. Rasha and Dian. It's Rasha that wins Evo's Divine GOW. R7 also joins in. Things are about to get incredibly messy as AG Global now comes under fire, courtesy of Heavy, so Fluxo again avoids combat.
Yeah, Fluxo avoids combat, and the occupants of the Purgatory Apartments are still here. battling Heavy rushes in. Kabi and Alan a little bit reckless, but they split up. Alan right now moving into GOW, and Kabi heads into Evos. Brimlighted flies in, looking at the minimap right now, might be able to hit against Heavy, and they will also catch the information or the attention of Evo's Divine. There goes Falcons being eliminated in this game, and let's see how this battle of the compounds go.
It's another rematch from the Clash Squad. This rivalry continues to burn bright. Fluxo against AG Global. Geo right in front. Team SR and Cypher trying to hold them back, but Fluxo have shown immense composure and patience even in these high-stakes moments. They don't let the urgency dictate what the next move is. In fact, it is AG Global that is feeling a bit uneasy as Fluxo continues to in forward, pushes in, pulls the trigger, breaks to the glue wall, and AG Global continues to be forced to back off. Rip Tyrant only temporarily stops them until Baros has something to say about it. By eliminating Butcherson, they could stop Fluxo right here, right now, but Bob's not willing to yield, and they are turning it onto AG Global. Bobs ends up going down, MT7 fills in the black in the grave, and GU left standing as AG Global puts the stop to that rampage. Fluxo will need to play a few more rounds.
Another nail in the coffin on that final mission for Fluxo, but unfortunately the table has been turned with that M79. I'm expecting that they will be taken out, but speaking of being taken out, Brimlighted being taken out, eliminated by Evo's Divine, and we still have 7 teams remaining in our 15-minute mark.
And with this say that Purgatory could be the breaking point for some of these teams, and the tempo has been broken completely by Evos and AG Global. No Fluxo, no BRU, no Falcons. The table is now wide open again. Just like Movistar R7, out in the open with PE Sports raining hellfire on them. But if they avoid PE Sports, they're running straight into the jaws of the White Tiger.
And the White Tiger will just be waiting. And a lot of people right now on this side. Della needs not to be moved, otherwise he will be taken down. Heavy right now, moving away, but Ray, AC-80 in hand, takes him down. 6 teams remain, and this arena is on fire. Evos receiving a little bit of damage from GOW. Rip is already down. Aim God trying to recover, and Demon being taken out. And there goes GOW going away out to the lobby, and we have 4 teams left.
Imgar was sacrificed in the process, but for Evos, they're definitely counting their blessings. The fact that they only lost 1 member in all that chaos is the best case scenario. AG Global now turns into this 2-4v4, and they immediately take care of E1 Esports. We're down to another Southeast Asia derby between AG Global, Evos, and PE, the big 3 in this final circle, with PE the ones who are at the most disadvantaged position with only 2 men left.
Yeah, 2 men left and also being damaged. AG has potential to just wait this out and use their numbers to win this fight. Razia on the shot and will be taken down by Cypher. 21 elimination from the champions of Clash Squad and still on the roll. And Evos being taken down. Only 2 players remaining. Nero is down, and looks like Evos or AG Global would be back for another Booyah, the first Booyah in the Grand Finals.
And they turbocharge themselves up the standings with 35 massive points off of the monstrous performance of every single member of the team. Baros and Cypher coming online as a dynamic duo that we have seen throughout the entirety of Clash Squad yesterday to put Fluxo in their place and then convert that rotation into a booyah on Purgatory.
Well, it seems like from the beginning of this game, there's the first team who really grabbed all those points, taking out RRQ in Forge in first circle and continue going in against other teams like Fluxo, and towards the end, having 4 players alive, maintaining that composure despite of all those eliminations that could have bring so much of energy that they could have been taken out.
This was sort of what we also talked about during that Alpine map where we were concerned to a certain point if AG Global runs into Fluxo, they will be held to pay.
Yeah.
Because statistically, AG Global has been winning these 4v4s if they are the one who gets the drop onto Fluxo. And in this case, we see that in action again, despite Fluxo being the one that runs into AG Global and starting that fight. But this final circle was prepped from the very beginning. AG Global knew that they had it in the bag and there was nothing that they could stop them. 35 points, a booyah plus 23 eliminations. AG are now in the conversation.
And AG, not only have they taken the record for the first Clash Squad champion, has broken the record in the highest match, the highest points that they can grab in one match. 35 points. And I was not thinking this is possible, especially on how heated, how strong, how determined everyone in these grand finals are. But AG Global still running their own script.
We were floating the idea of what if AG Global, off of yesterday's performance, takes that wave and it becomes a double champion this weekend. And now that possibility has resurfaced again. 35 points for them and everyone left fighting for scrap. Evo's Divine getting 16 on second, PE Sports with 15. But then you look at the front runners.
Yeah.
Falcons with the most out of the top 3, 11 points for them. BRU only getting 5 and Fluxo only getting 2. So for Fluxo and BRU, they gotta wait one more round to even have a chance to win the whole thing. We proposed the idea of ending it by round 5, but at least now we are guaranteed 6 maps.
Well, let's see though. Let's see. The Travels, the story can change overall, especially from what we've seen. And Fluxo, 65 points and very close to achieving it. Denied in this game. Brim United as well. Wherein only 5 points has been grabbed. 27 or 22 or 17 was needed earlier before this game. And now it's down to 12. Now, let's see though if they'll be able to farm all those points before heading into engagement, because it seems like the slow approach from Fluxo and Buriram United was okay, was pristine. But because they were the most aggressive in these games, they didn't cut down the numbers of those opponents. But as we look into AG Global, I mean, A124 making a comeback in this game and Chrono still in the mix, despite of some of the teams not really utilizing it to perfection.
I think the main difference between what AG Global is running and what Fluxo was running was that Steffi, right? That's the sort of the only stark difference between these two teams. But I think in the grand scheme of things, AG Global, they have been in this spot plenty of times in the Battle Royale finals. They've always been the one that is surprising the crowd. They've been the one that really comes out of nowhere and scores a big round. But it's about crossing the finishing line.
Yeah.
They've crossed it once yesterday. And if this is the performance that we're getting for AG Global, they just need one more push to get to that position to step on the podium. Just like how they were in EWC, but they missed out in the final round.
Well, let's see though. As we can see right now, AG Global put so much of effort, and that is also thanks to Cypher, our MVP from that game. 11 elimination, 2903 on the damage, and 10 on the assist. Wearing that Oscar the Rusher that really has brought in so much fire for AG Global. And I think with this number still maintains his spot as the top eliminator for this competition.
Cypher on form has been that reoccurring theme, right?
Yeah.
When we say that he's at his best, Cypher is always the reliable pillar that AG Global can lean on. And that's take the burden off of the captain due to. With that being said, I think by the end of next round, there is still a possibility that minimum, at least one team can unlock Champion Rush. If we get lucky, maybe 2 of them, right? Because BRU and Falcons aren't that far away from Fluxo too.
Well, let's see though if that is possible, really, because with that number of points, it brings them a little bit closer to going for that top 3. But as we look at the highlights right now, again, this is how they really control that situation against Team Falcons. And even against Fluxo, they just waited. And we know Fluxo is that patient team as well, but they played for the pressure of that blue that gave AG that advantage.
I'm slightly shocked that with all that patience that they have demonstrated, they were the ones who sort of made the hasty move, right? We saw in that earlier clip that Bobs sort of exposed himself but decided to full commit anyways. So it became sort of a chain reaction that led to Fluxo having no chance of winning against AG Global. But the Indonesian crowd still pretty livid with what they have seen so far, albeit still yearning for a bit more from both RRQ Kazu and EVOS Divine. The Indonesian teams have not been able to score a Booyah and not even a top 3 finish yet until we saw EVOS just now. So there's a lot more that we need from them.
Yeah, and it's one thing though that we were asking at this point, but before we go to that topic, let's take a look at the weapon progression, wherein from the beginning, it's just AC80, getting that information coming from Sypha. For the rest of the teams right now, I mean, they are slowly getting elimination. I did mention RRQ is one of their targets. And then Circle 3, that's where they met a lot because of the numbers of teams that's still alive from that circle. And then towards the end, Circle 5, I guess that's one M79 would be the badge that would be given to Bobs because that's what brought him down.
Yeah, and that is basically sort of the end game loadout, right? You achieve your final form, your final build. AG Global, when you are in this state as a team that is very proficient in playing that late game, when the odds are so high and things start to get chaotic, AG Global excels in these situations.
Yeah, well, let's see though if this is something that they can continue on. Motivation is high for this team, especially with that huge amount of elimination as well as from what they've gathered from yesterday. But we know for a fact that some of these teams will still be hustling. They are getting close as well to Fluxo and BRM United, who I would say would be the target, the target of everyone, just to extend it even further, extend this game even further, and they will not be left behind, not getting or not achieving that champion rush condition.
It's even more unbelievable when you sort of paint the picture of what happened in the first 10 minutes of Purgatory. BRU and Fluxo constantly just barely missing each other and able to get into their usual rotation path. Never collided once and both got taken out when they finally decide to commit to the circle. And I think that could be a trend, right? Maybe actively hunting for them isn't necessarily the only way to stop them, but being ready for them when they finally come through is the more effective way.
And also, like, there are plenty of time after game number 3 towards game number 4. There's a little bit of break. And there's a lot of conversation wherein, all right, we know where they're going, we know where we can spot them, and I guess we can plan out if in case they will be going on those same long flank. They understand their drop spot in Purgatory and the pattern of each team, whether it's left or right, you would either catch Fluxo or BRM United. So I guess for those who are really aiming to catch up, those are the target. Those are the main team you need to take it down. So elimination will not be funneled onto one side.
And speaking of eliminations, right? We only have 2 more maps to go before we start spinning that randomizer roulette. We have Solara coming up next as Kalahari to end round 6.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in the back room as well, where from round 4 to round 6, it is the most fun map, but it's also some of the biggest maps in the competitive pool, right? It's going to be very challenging for teams that are not used to these kind of big rotation where vehicles are mandatory, and it also tests your patience. But speaking of which, gotta be a bit of patience before Game 5 begins because we have something special prepared for you guys. So for now, we're gonna send it over to the stage for our host for a little something special before the next game.
Oh my god, survivors, I think the games have been so intense, and why don't we take a little break?
Yeah, we have seen enough headshots. Now it's time for headshots.
Exactly. I mean, what's more relaxing than getting your hair done, right?
Yeah.
Hi AJ, I heard you need a new haircut before your next cast.
Exactly, but I'm not so sure what style I should go with though.
Well, we got plenty of inspiration in the stage tonight.
Oh, true. I mean, just look at Dux from RRQ. He's got that clean fade, tidy, fresh look, like he just walked straight out of the barbershop.
That's actually a very good idea, but you know, also do it like get high from Buriram, right?
Yeah.
Man's got an afro. Have you seen his afro? Who needs a helmet when you've got hair like that?
Not forgetting Gio from Fluxo. Sleek, smooth, little highlights. That could work for you, AJ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I can't decide, but I trust you ladies. How about you guys decide for me?
Oh, don't worry. Help is actually on the way. We've called in the best stylists in Free Fire. I'm sure you know them. It's Kelly and Maxim.
Oh no. Can we trust them?
Oh, totally. Kelly, Maxim, and friends just opened their new hair salon, and it's pure chaos.
Teamwork, timing, trust issues, everything has in this game.
All right, without further delay, let's check it out. So that was it. Garena's brand new casual co-op game, Choppy Cuts!
That was dangerously fun.
I know, right? Kalau kalian suka chaos, kalian suka sesuatu yang seru, kalian pasti suka sama game yang barusan. That would definitely be your favorite game.
Yeah, 4 players, no coordination, and all-out chaos. Sounds like the perfect party game, right?
Yep. Choppy Cuts, a fun, creative co-op game with your favorite Free Fire characters, now available on Steam.
Grab your friends, your squad, or anyone brave enough to trust your scissors.
So once again, that's Choppy Cuts. Go try it out, and now let's pass the floor back to our casters. Take it away, casters!
Thank you very much, Conchita and Yoonsul, and hopefully AJ was able to decide after that, and also Kelly and Maxim can help him out. But I'm really excited to also play that Choppy Cuts at this point. But again, the excitement is slowly building up. I am here in the crowd as well in the arena, just cheering on their teams despite of not ending that much later into the game. This is what they need, because the next map, as you did mention, would be a bigger one or a newer and exciting one, which is Solara.
I just want to say that the atmosphere has been nothing less by electrifying. We're literally sitting in front of the super fans of EVO's Divine. And on the topic of Choppy Cuts, you know the selling point for me? I can toss my customers across a river. That's all I need. That's all I need. I need some good biceps and, you know, get them in the barber chair with a 10-mile drop. Solara coming up next. Archways with plenty of creative means to really surprise your opponents. And funnily enough, not Archway, but Solara was sort of the map that AG Global closed out the Clash Squad finals yesterday too against Fluxo. So the stars are aligning for these teams, but only 2 regions have really stepped up to the occasion, and both of them now have 2 Booyahs in totality. We have Brazil with 2 on the hands of Fluxo. Thailand has 2, 1 from BRU and 1 from AG Global.
Well, let's see though if Fluxo or Brazil can continue this on, because looking at the numbers, when we jump into Solara, it's 2 of the Brazil teams who is leading the board in this map. First is Team Solid, next would be Fluxo, and it seems like this is a good chance, really. In terms of elimination, Fluxo has managed to bag the most, if not close to the most, in this specific map. So they can play for that aggression, make sure that they can get enough points, despite like even if they get eliminated early, as long as they reach and achieve that champion rush condition, then they're already set for the next map.
And so far they have been really finding a lot of successes until map 4 happened. So this is where we kind of see that reset, right? And even though it's basically agreed upon by everyone that Fluxo has shown time and time again the resilience, it's always a question that needs to be posed, right? Because even for them, this is the biggest stage ever. If any of the players out there, even veterans, can feel that tension every now and then. And for Fluxo, having the best stats on Solara is a boon, but replicating it is going to be the challenge.
Well, let's see though if that is a challenge that they can overcome, as well as they can go through. The same goes with the other teams, especially for those Indonesian teams who it seems like we were expecting that the energy from the kingdom would be gathered and thrown into the game, but I guess the pressure is also building at this point. But speaking of pressure, Solara, the newest and the most craziest map, is on, and this might dictate who's getting that champion rush condition.
And getting there in of itself takes a lot of effort, and Fluxo, correct me if I'm wrong, Neptune, 15 points away.
Yeah.
So that's a booyah and 3 eliminations. But if they play incredibly safe, or they could just go hunt for more bodies and, you know, can accept being knocked out slightly earlier on. Either way, the condition for Fluxo to get to that 80-point threshold is within touching distance. We stayed the same on Purgatory, but unfortunately AG Global stopped it dead in its tracks. Fluxo now gets a second win and another chance at accomplishing that.
Well, let's see if that would happen. But the teams are dropping, and let's see where they land. And so far, for Fluxo, they jump into Bloomtown. And who would be facing them? Possibly Evos, who's also in studio. But it's very, very close. Just one slider away from Brim United. And also, Team Solids managed to grab Archway in the middle of everyone else. But going a little bit to AG Global in Casa Vista, there's not so much of a contention. It's smart move as well for AG to spread around into Aquarium, because other than Casa Vista, they often go to Aquarium because that's where the majority of the loots are.
And this is one of the few maps that Fluxo sort of drops slightly closer to the center, you know, going against the usual habits. Bobs actually went on an exploration early on, probably saw E1 Esports and glimpses of Evo's Divine. Meanwhile, R7 have just found Han, and that's Games King drawing first blood. 2 eliminations for Movistar R7. The Latam team hasn't really been on the map for the entirety of this grand finals, and it's about time they step up. The Team SR has just found Paum. It is going to be a 1v1 on both ends. Cypher onto Beating XP, and he's winning out that trade. Beating XP with the Inhaler, tries to relocate, but Cypher is a bit quicker on his feet, and that's a takedown.
And Paum right now flies away, and seems like he'll be able to manage to go away from AG. But Launchpad, same that he used, will be taken. And once he dropped, there's another that will back him up. But there goes the shot, there goes the blue wall as well. But Paum right now might not be able to survive any longer. But he was just destruction at this point, and 2 remains for E1 that might be able to revive the full squad.
You look at the right side of your screen, overall damage leaders so far are only from Fluxo and BRU, plus Dudes in 5th place. Well, Joker has just overtaken that because they actually made a live update. Still, Brazil and Thailand have given us more above and beyond in terms of that performance as a region. But Bobs, I think, is quite a surprising number, even though we did say that he loves the grenade launcher, but to see him as a top damage dealer, it's shocking in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and you did mention that this is where M79 is really proving a point in this game. And both Bobs and Jonah have been using that specific weapon, and they are bringing a lot of damage. So I won't be surprised if next season, if not next few games, M79 would be used by a lot of teams, and more chaos would be found into Battlefield.
But you're taking now Paum, so another point under the belt of Evo's Divine. It's also to reinforce your point about the elimination leader. We actually got a glimpse of it on the screen. I believe Cypher, like you mentioned, still in the lead by a mile. I mean, he clocked in 11 takedowns in the previous game. That should set him apart from the pack, from the hurt. Movistar R7 reeling with only 1 member left. E1 gets a full revive. So most of the teams taking it slow. Fluxo encroaching onto Evo's Divine territory for the second time this map.
Well, let's see though. Now we are seeing as well as R7 slowly revive the full squad. And I didn't expect Solara to be this slow in taking down one opponent, but you know for a fact that the elimination is not as slow. Even the engagement is not as slow. Now Fluxo right now, the challenge of Evo's is getting near, but good enough on them. They managed to get an arsenal that would fortify their front, and MT7 is still on standby just in case anyone from EVOS comes up.
They put out a hit list onto AG Global early on, so AG Global, if they take that challenge, this can get very messy near Evo Drain. And MT7 makes sure that if there's any business to be done with EVOS Divine, he's going to be the one that comes out on top of that deal. Aim God will now need rescuing from Kochu. As the storm forms around where Fluxo is, they will give some respite for EVOS Divine, but Fluxo wants to finish what they have started, and GU plus MT7 puts in the 1-for-1, and that's 2 head start points for Fluxo.
LSC EVOS back away out from the lightning zone, and Ray managed to use a launch pad just to get away from Fluxo. But right now, it seems like it's not only EVOS that they need to deal with in the horizon. We're seeing a glimpse of AG, and that might be another, probably a round 3 just in Battle Royale. But for Rasia, he managed to win that fight against Fit9. Revival for the rest of the team has been done, and hopefully this is the form wherein they get back up, because Bloomtown is occupied by 3 remaining players that is just waiting on Rasia.
So the hit list on AG Global was actually from RRQ. No wonder they didn't pursue Fluxo, but they came dangerously close. And AG Global decides to back off, and they are the ones that set out a bounty for Leon. So Fluxo really breathing a sigh of relief as On Fire now engages onto the heavy. Mufasa gets picked back up. Alan also finding the Weezer, needs a bit of help. Don't Cry ends up going down to Dian. GOW from a separate angle, making life for Heavy a bit more complicated as they relocate with the launch pad, push themselves in safe hands of the compound. But there is a chance that they get sandwiched by Team Solid.
Yeah, let's see though, Team Solid really moves, and that would be not looking good. That would not look good for Heavy at this point. Waterfall, a good spot as well, because the vending machine would be there if in case one of the players will be taken down. As long as you have enough Free Fire coins, then you can always bring back the back. But for Bitten9 alone, despite of Leon in a good view to take down any contending him, but he's still out in the open, and Bitten9 will need to survive. Aim God tried to do so, hit by Leon, and now backs away. So EVOS control this compound, holding them back, and Riptide Rhythm would clear the way, but there's still a little bit cover for E1.
And E1 didn't really have much time to recover because they have been on a revival spree. Bitten9 finally forced off of the roof, and now EVOS are hunting for blood. Bitten9 to get the heal up in time. Aim God splits the corner, and that's another point for EVOS as RQ also joins the feed with takedowns onto the heavy. RQ is the one coming out on top. The Indonesians are coming to life.